Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball on NBC, presented by Capital One. The show takes us to the Pacific Northwest this Sunday night for the Mariners, who were 1/7 inning away from the World Series last year, and the Padres, who were in a real battle for NL West supremacy with the champions of last year, the Los Angeles Dodgers. So glad to have you along once again. Jason Benetti, as always, joined by experts from both sides. Mariners analyst, former Mariner Ryan Rowland-Smith, Jake Peavy, former Padre, two-time World Series champion. And Peavy, we're going to start with you and this Padres team that has late comeback written all over it basically every night, but they have really been a juggernaut. What makes them so good?
Well, it starts with the bullpen. Jason Adam, Maury Hone, all-stars, getting it to the best closer in baseball, Mason Miller. This Padre team's got a lead, or the game is tied after 5 innings, Ryan. It's really hard to come back and beat them. Xander Bogaerts and Gavin Sheets have provided most of the offense, but Nick Castellanos, Ty France, and Duhar have also provided a nice sting in there without Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis finding their footing. Padres are playing well. That's
scary if those two guys haven't found their footing and the Padres are hovering around first place. Meantime, for the Mariners, same kind of deal early in the year. Cal Raleigh is injured now. Julio Rodriguez didn't get off to a great start. And the Mariners are afloat in an AL West that's a little bit light this year.
Yeah, well, they're afloat. But, Jason, last time you were here, we kicked off Sunday Night Baseball here in Seattle. The expectations were, look, they're coming off winning their first AL West in 2 decades. They're going to run away with the AL West, but they're hovering around 500. Look, the pitching is the foundation, and it has been all year long. They have been so consistent, even with some of the misses they've had, some of the losses they've had in the bullpen with Matt Brash and Gabe Spire. But offensively, coming into this season, more of a complete offense was the goal, with Brendan Donovan at the top. You mentioned Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez cutting down on the swings and misses. They're slowly starting to do that in the middle of this lineup, but they just haven't had everyone healthy at the same time, especially with Brendan Donovan hitting the IL at the moment. Obviously, Cal Raleigh, that's a huge loss in the middle of that lineup. But that man right there, Julio Rodriguez, and Josh Naylor is starting to hit. There is some good things coming up once everyone gets healthy and once they can get that consistent lineup that they projected coming out of spring training.
And the Mariners, again, you said it, the starting pitching has been phenomenal. They are on a 6-man rotation, and part of it is George Kirby. As we give you our pitcher profile presented by Salesforce, Kirby has been an innings eater and a dynamo at the same time.
He really has. And look, to me, he came into this season on a mission, right? Where last year he kicked off the first part of the season on the IL. He had the shoulder issue. He was an all-star just a couple years ago, but there was a couple bumps in the road. I think he has matured mentally, Pete. As you know, he's gotten to that place now where the little things don't bother him so much. Ton of ground balls. He wants to be an innings eater. Jason, like you said, the ground ball rate is around 60%. That, to me, is being the difference. The strikeout rate, it's a little low at the moment, but, man, he has been so dominant. I think the best pitcher out the gates here for the Mariners.
Well, he's been through that journey. It is day one, step one of that journey for Colt Emerson, one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball. He's taking it all in right now. Anthony Rizzo, you remember your debut back in the day wearing similar colors to some out there right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Colt right now signing the little kid's jersey. That was him 12 years ago on the field, I'm sure, at some point. So what an amazing moment for him and his family. Getting called up when I was a kid, it was all your dreams coming true. So it's exciting for him and his family, and hopefully this is his first game of about a 15-year career.
That is his hope and his plan. A young man from New Concord, Ohio, is out there playing third base. And here is the starting lineup that he will face for the San Diego Padres, who are 18th in home runs, 30th in batting average, 28th in on-base percentage, but they still are 9 over 500. Fernando Tatis Jr. still has not hit his first home run. But, Peave, as you mentioned, Miguel Andujar has been a nice bit part player. Gavin Sheets has been a power source, certainly, and Xander Bogaerts in the 5 spot is always a danger, a former All-Star as well.
A.J. Preller has done a beautiful job building a complete roster, understanding that some of the bounces early in the playoffs may have come from just putting too much pressure.
That's the Padres starting lineup. It's presented by Capital One for the former Washington National pitcher Craig Stammen in his first year as a manager, and he has done a marvelous job thus far with this San Diego team. So The Padres and Mariners. San Diego has won all 5 so far this year. George Kirby trying to stop that in beautiful Seattle, Washington. What a setting for Major League Baseball. The roof is open. The sun is out. It is a brochure day for King County. George Kirby's first pitch is ball number 1. We are underway. Chad Fairchild has the plate. He's the umpire. And Fernando Tatis Jr. at some point is going to hit that first home run. And you would imagine that after that, they're going to come pouring out. It's easy to ask, Peeve, the question, why is it happening? What is your headline answer?
My headline answer is he's been a little bit closed off in his stance, beating too many balls in the ground, not getting them airborne. If you see now, the stance is opened up as it was when Fernando Tatis was the face of baseball.
He'll check his swing there, and he did not go. So it's 2 balls and a strike. He's hit the ball on the ground up the middle a bunch this year. He's not pulling the ball in the air. And as we know, a lot of the home runs in Major League Baseball are pull air fly balls to left field. As he gets shaken down again by Kirby, who is a big-time ground ball pitcher.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and look, one thing with him, and I talked about him coming into this season with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He wants to be that guy. He was that guy a couple years ago, making an all-star game out of the gates, then had some injuries. But I think the combination with him, with enough of that elevated fastball to get the swing and miss, and now all of a sudden with that hefty ground ball raise, you see right there, 57%. That's just that combination where you are going to get deep 6-7 innings every time.
His shortest outing this year has been 5. As this 3-2 is tapped on the ground, it's back to Kirby. He goes to the bare hand to swing and get out number 1.
You know what, too, Jason, one thing with George Kirby coming off last year, I mentioned the fact he was injured, missed about a month and a half. It was around this time where he made his season debut, but the arm angle was a little lower, right? So he was a little bit more side to side with that sinker. Now all of a sudden the arm has gotten right back up to where it was before. He's got that good vertical movement on that sinker, and all of a sudden, as we know, as we saw that ground ball rate just under 60%, just that contact into the ground.
He is a 28-year-old right-hander out of Rye, New York. 20th overall pick of the Mariners back in 2019, and he faces Andujar with 1 out in the first. This is a spectacular afternoon here in the Northwest, night for everybody else for Major League Baseball.
The sun's out.
You always wonder as a visitor coming to the Northwest what kind of weather you're going to get. And it can be flip a coin. The baseball gods have shined on us today. Roof open, such a different feel here in T-Mobile Park as well.
One of the crown jewel ballparks since 1999 in Major League Baseball, as Kirby misses inside to the Padres' third baseman.
You see those shadows too. This is one of those mid-afternoon games where those shadows could come into play. See him start to loom over home plate. Just a couple of innings.
Type of day Nolan Ryan used to love when those shadows hopped over the plate. As that's fouled away, it's 3-2.
Some pros and cons of coming here to the Northwest is the pros. What a venue to play at. I've been blessed over my career. It's just been sunny blue skies every time we played here. Clubhouse, they do a great job. The venue here does a great job, but the con is that travel, man. It is far. It is up here.
Riz, really every time you were here, Anthony Rizzo, it was sunny like this?
Yeah, we came pretty much in the summertime, and it doesn't get dark here until 10. The fans were always great when I was with the Cubs and the Yankees, so what a beautiful place to play. It's just traveling here, man. Those flights cross country are tough.
3-2, ground ball to first base. That's Josh Naylor. And he holds out number 2. So twice on the ground for George Kirby. And he'll face Gavin Sheets, whose whole premise, Peeve, is to launch the ball to the pull side.
Gavin Sheets has really come into his own. Spring training last year, the Padres saw that they had something, and he has found a home. And you heard Craig Stammen talk about not just on the field, what he's doing leadership-wise is really taking a hold of this Padre clubhouse.
Gavin Sheets off 19 home runs last year, a career high. And Gavin Sheets deposits this ball way back there and gone. He was not going to wait around. It is 1-0 San Diego.
Well, one thing facing George Kirby, you know you're going to get pitches out over the plate early on. Gavin Sheets, man, in just straight ambush mode on that first pitch. I think it was 99.
I believe he was ambush mode because George Kirby just went to back-to-back 3-ball counts. Very uncharacteristic of George Kirby. Gavin, I guarantee you, knowing he was going to get in the zone right there, was ready to hit it and did not miss.
Home run number 8 for Gavin Sheets, who has been electrifying late in games. But here you go, Pete. First pitch.
This is a cat and mouse game. You're always adjusting your game plan to what happens the pitch before. And like I said, I knew Gavin Sheets, knowing that Kirby's going to be in the strike zone, and he wasn't early on with those front 2 batters, probably knew he was going to get a good pitch to hit.
Anthony, you were talking about that before the game, that when you saw a mound meeting or something like that, a pitcher was getting emotional, you were thinking fastball.
Yeah, you have to know who the pitcher is. And with Kirby, he loves throwing strikes. He hates walking guys. So back-to-back 3-ball counts, Sheets going up there knowing he throws strikes. So when you're game planning for a guy like Kirby, you have to understand that you can look up in the 7th inning and he can have 80 pitches, but you have to be aggressive. That's the only way you're going to get to him, or he's going to be strike 1, strike 2 pretty much all night on you.
He's ahead here 1-2 on Manny Machado, who takes a fastball, and 2-2. Tester with a sinker, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Machado. But Gavin Sheets has found a home here in San Diego in a big way. I mean, you see the smile on his face, and he was talking before the game about how great this clubhouse has been and how much they've embraced him here. When you're hitting the homers, of course.
Sometimes you just need a change of scenery, Jason.
Are you saying you want to leave the booth already? It's only the top of the 3rd.
I couldn't be any more excited to be here with you, buddy.
3-2, and George Kirby walks off the mound after tossing 99 past Machado. But Gavin Sheets goes deep. 1-0 San Diego early on Sunday night. Dan Wilson's Mariners trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the 1st inning, and the Mariners starting lineup presented by Capital One. It begins with J.P. Crawford. So Brendan Donovan goes on the injured list today, and Colt Emerson activated. You'll see him bat 9th, the debuting 3rd baseman for Seattle, and they all face the starting pitcher for San Diego, Lucas Giolito, who's one of the latest signees of the veterans across Major League Baseball. But he's a former All-Star, former White Sox All-Star back in the day. He's got a no-hitter to his name as well. And after 4 rehab outings to get himself ready for this season, he makes his 2026 debut. It's 3-0 to Crawford from Giolito.
Yeah, and I think too, you look at the last year, the last final 11 starts, 2.7 ERA for the Boston Red Sox. So you're thinking, okay, look, he had that nice finish, especially too when you have some of the injury history. However, had that injury right at the end of the year, which gave so many teams pause. But tell you what, the Padres, you look at some of these deals, if this works out and they can fill that rotation up with a Giolito for $3 million, man, it can be an absolute steal.
That is the pitch that he made his bones with when he was throwing well with the White Sox. That parachute changeup earns him 3-2 on Crawford. 31-year-old right-hander, a payoff. And that's hit high in the air and foul. The Mariners are top 5 by most metrics in production from the 1 spot this year, and Brendan Donovan has been a part of that. Crawford now into the 1 position here, and he will see a 7th pitch in this sequence. It's a ground ball to second. Fernando Tatis Jr. throws him out 1 away, and that brings us our Salesforce pitcher profile for Lucas Giolito. And Jake, he had a contract stipulation that he could only be in the minors for 25 days, but he's a guy that has a pedigree to help this rotation.
Absolutely he does. Like I said, last year with the Boston Red Sox, right behind Crochet was a big reason that they pushed their way into the postseason. Over that last 60 innings, sub-3 ERA is really doing it in the major leagues. The Padres are hoping that he can provide some help behind King and Vasquez with no Musgrove and Nicky Pivetta in that lineup.
Some big-time injuries, and we've seen that across the board in Major League Baseball with major starting pitching injuries. Here's a cue shot to second that flattens out and sped up for Tatis. That's a solid play by Tatis to get rid of Julio Rodriguez. Evidently, it's either ground ball or home run tonight here on Sunday Night Baseball.
It's a nice job right there. Getting off the barrel, knowing Julio was going to be aggressive, little cutter.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing too. Look, watching him last year in the Boston Red Sox uniform, we talk so much about that changeup, and it is elite. He's got that extension, fastball to the top of the strike. So I'm curious to see what the velocity is. He's pumping some 90, 91s. We hit 93 last time out. But I think adding that breaking ball to that repertoire, just getting hitters that different look and keeping them off balance, was a huge separator, I think, especially down the stretch. I'm curious to see how many times he breaks that thing out today against the Mariners.
(2-0) here to Naylor. He goes change up that time, and it's a sky-high pop-up. And Duhar at third makes the catch, and a 1-2-3 inning in Lucas Giolito's Friar premiere. Home runs this season. Here's a live look at FanDuel's home run odds for today's game. The San Diego Padres. If you watch a game on MLB TV, and Ryan and Jake, I know you guys will click around, how many times over under 2,200 do you see Anthony Rizzo's face on one of those ads on a daily basis? Over under?
I'm taking the over.
Taking the over.
Yeah, but take the points on that. Rizzo, what's in your deal? It's got to be like 1 million times over the course of the season. How does that work?
I think a little bit over that. But Blake Griffin clowning me on there, man.
Yeah, he is.
You should have saw when we were doing that live. The outtakes on that are hilarious. Them just telling me to stick to my cheeseburger and beer over there at the bar we were at.
Nice view, by the way, today.
Great view.
Riz.
I might have to start bringing my glove down here in the camera wells, though. I'll be honest. I'm a little. I'm on edge over here at all times, waiting for a foul ball.
You a little tense?
Nervous, yeah, nervous energy, that's for sure.
Well, hey, listen, I will say one thing, man. I know you're down the other end of the dugout, but watch what you're saying. If you're speaking too loud, you're breaking down the player. If they're standing right by you, you got to be careful, man. You don't want to be talking about someone too loud. They're right next to that dugout. They can hear everything you say.
Oh yeah,
heads up.
Don't do that to him.
A couple weeks ago,
him up.
A couple weeks ago, I was right next to Skip Schumacher in the Rangers when we were in Detroit. I was whispering into my microphone.
1-2 for Xander Bogaerts, who checks his swing. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know Xander Bogaerts pretty well, Pete.
Won a World Series with this guy in Boston. He was a huge reason as a 19, 20-year-old kid we were able to punch through, and he's now really comfortable being a San Diego Padre.
How different is he now to when he was 19 out of Aruba?
You know, he's not much different. This guy come up and was so calm and composed. Just to the at-bats off Scherzer, Verlander, and those guys. In that time, you knew he was going to be something special.
He'll ground it to shortstop, and J.P. Crawford handles the first out of the second inning. And now Jackson Merrill, the 23-year-old for the Padres. And very interesting how teams pitch guys in a 3-6 game span. This is the 6th game between these two teams this year. Jackson Merrill has seen nearly 75% fastball from Seattle, Ryan.
Yeah, and look, that was a pitch, especially early on this season, where the elevated fastball, he was really struggling with that. He was behind it. He was late. He was trying to do some things to adjust to that pitch, to catch up to it.
That was in the fastball family. It's a cutter, and there's Colt Emerson getting a big round of applause. The biggest cheer you'll hear for a foul pop-out in Major League Baseball this week because the rookie got his first run.
And by the way, too, he just got the news. Mariners posted a clip of him walking into the, every team now posts the clips of when they walk into these big prospects, walking in the manager's office to get the call. I was looking at the clock in the background. It was 1 p.m. So he had to make the drive up the I-5, man. I mean, he had to hurry up and get up here. You got late notice. Usually these prospects, Pete, now they get 3 or 4 days prior. We're like, hey, we're about to call you up. Tell the family. They get the royal treatment. But Colt, late notice.
Only to overthink it.
And speaking of overthinking it, this is how detailed Ryan Rowland-Smith is. He was looking at the clock in the background of the announcement video.
Man doesn't miss much.
We have Sherlock Holmes in the booth.
That's right.
1-1. That's in for a strike. 1 and 2 on Laureano.
Yeah, Jason, look, sometimes, for the dramatic, they're trying to say, hey, look, we just called him up. I'm like, no, for sure. He's an uber prospect. They would have let him know yesterday, but not the case. He got the late call, 1 o'clock.
The Mariners had actually posted a lineup that didn't include him, so this decision did come late. Brendan Donovan goes on the injured list, and Emerson very much acting like he's been here, just kicking around some dirt. Dan Wilson happy to have him, certainly.
He's such a good kid. Look, I hate to call him a kid, but he really is when you think about how young he is. Yeah, but the Mariners, I mean, they've done that the last couple of years now with Julio signing that big extension. Obviously, Cal last year, and with Colt Emerson as well, not even playing a day in the big leagues, signing that extension. But it's part of the character, too. They do such a good job of identifying some of the character from some of these young players.
Nasty running sinker from Kirby. Cuts down Laureano. Mariners will hit down a run after this. Sunday Night Baseball on NBC is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Eddie Vedder, huge baseball fan. He has this rivalry named after him now. He's an enormous Cub fan, but this is the Vedder Cup. Eddie Vedder with ties to Seattle and San Diego. Pearl Jam formed here in Seattle, and the winner of the 6-game series gets the Vedder Cup. Run differential is the first tiebreaker. EV, exit velocity, also his initials, are the second tiebreaker. Anthony Rizzo knows exactly how big of a baseball fan Eddie Vedder is.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when we clinched to go to the World Series, we're in the back of John Lester's house. Eddie's playing the guitar with my dad. It's a core memory I'll never forget. My dad, Eddie Vedder, David Ross are all just jamming in the backyard at Lester's house.
Was your dad singing?
My dad has a very famous song that I can't say on air that he sings, and everyone I played with knows it. All the kids I went to high school with, I grew up with, know the song. But yeah, my dad's very musically inclined.
What era is the song from?
It's made up.
Oh, it's made up.
Eddie loved it. The boys loved it.
I see.
Yeah.
2-1, misses 3 balls and a strike. I feel like there are follow-up questions that need to be asked, but we're going to lay off.
Well, I mean, I know Peeves a big, plays plenty of guitar and melts face with a. You're a big acoustic guy, aren't you?
Well, there's nothing like late night jam sessions. Where they are. This is a long season. You got to keep your sanity somewhat. I did mine by guitar on the road for most of my career.
You travel with it?
Always. My best friend, truly.
What was it, 4 or 5 a.m. you and Dempster were at Times Square in New York when you were at the Red Sox?
It's so true.
Check swing, strike 3. Arozarena's down. Lucas Giolito has his first Padres strikeout.
As that fastball elevated. Again, that's a pitch. It just pairs so well with that changeup. You mentioned that parachute changeup, Jason. See if he starts to loosen up a little bit, knock off some of those nerves coming back for that first time. You start to see that velocity start to tick up into the 92s, 93s.
I'm surrounded by future Grammy Award winners here, but Lucas Giolito, the way he kind of lets off steam is he is a huge gamer. He was part of that MLB The Show tournament that Major League Baseball had with the players on social media, on Twitch when the COVID pandemic was happening. Big gamer. His father was in gaming development for a long while. Lucas has a very interesting family. There's a ground ball around. It's a base hit for Raley, who's been such a revelation. Back healthy again in this offense for Seattle with 10 home runs, and he's the Mariners' first base runner tonight.
And he's been raking of late. He's been laying off just enough changeups. So I was going to say this is going to be a tough matchup for him against Giolito because he's really struggled against changeups. If he can recognize that pitch just enough, he can get a fastball. Man, he has been doing some damage, especially of late.
We'll watch that next at bat for Raley to see if he gets any fastballs that are hittable, as this is popped up third base side, and Duhar makes the catch for out number 2 on Cole Young. I mean, Raley's numbers, just to put it in your pocket for his next at bat, he is slugging .820 against the fastball. To your point, Ryan, about how important it is for him to do something on the secondary side.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, look, the kryptonite is that changeup, but you know, as Anthony Rizzo can speak for this, you know that that's your weak point. If he can just have that pitch recognition just enough, and all of a sudden they have to feed you that fastball, that's where you can do that damage, and that's what Luke Raley has been doing. Not to mention just let that ball get a little deeper. He's hit a couple home runs to left field. That last road trip down in Houston.
Giolito to Dom Canzone with a fastball for a strike.
Riz, you could tell him this too. If you're struggling with the off speed, don't miss the fastball when you get it.
That's it. That's a tale as old as time. Don't miss the fastball when you get it. When Giolito with his changeup, though, I know he's only maybe 90, 92, but it seems like it's 95 to 97 when you know that changeup is in his back pocket at all times. So it's such a devastating pitch when you're hitting, especially with these shadows too. Almost the changeup with these shadows do you a favor.
1-1 after a long hold. That's popped up. Put a pin in that, Anthony, for next time Lucas comes out. The changeup and the shadows. We'll talk about that in the bottom of the third. 1-0. At Capital One Cafe, part bank, part cafe, all in one convenient and welcoming space. Capital One Cafes are open 7 days a week. Visit CapitalOne.com/local to learn more. What's in your wallet? Feels like the kind of venue that you might find Jake Peavy playing at. Acoustic, Capital One Cafe, singer-songwriter Jake Peavy.
That's right. Tim Flannery, the third base coach for the Padres, long time, gave me a guitar at 20 years old. I took it with me all across this land.
See, now it's Bob Henley over there. Bob Henley ever give you a guitar? It's Colt Emerson from third, and the crowd swells with every time he touches the baseball. One away. Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. This city is buzzing after the Mariners nearly went to the World Series last year, losing in Game 7 against Toronto. The Seahawks are world champions. You see Lumen Field off in the distance as you look beyond the left field seats here at T-Mobile Park as well. There's the home of the Seahawks. One of the buildings in the NFL that you can actually feel moving when it's loud in there.
Yeah, it is a good time to be a sports fan here in Seattle. You got obviously the Seahawks kind of snuck up on you, won that Super Bowl. Mariners finally getting to the top of the AL West. Just a matter of outs from getting to their first ever World Series as Lumen Field.
They've done a marvelous job with how close these two stadiums are to each other in downtown Seattle. As the 2-1 to Freddie Fermin. And Jake, you know how important a catcher can be, the relationship. Padres went out and got Freddie Fermin right at the deadline, and that was one of those deals kind of under the radar But I know everybody, your colleagues at MLB Network, loved that trade for what he can do for a pitching staff.
Huge. He's been an understudy for Sal Perez over in Kansas City, a Hall of Fame catcher.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 down, and it's not about the offense for him. It's about the way he handles the staff.
That's where it all starts. Martin Maldonado was the spot that he took, which was handling the pitching staff, and they're just hoping that Freddie can do a little bit more than he has so far with the bat. But again, it starts and ends with the catcher and what he does on the defensive side of the ball. What he's done with the starting staff, also through the bullpen, shows for itself.
2 down, Fernando Tatis Jr. Anthony, how long did you go in a season without your first home run? You remember?
I think maybe into the second series. That was one of those things. I was always blessed to get one off the board quick.
Wow.
Sorry about it.
So almost Memorial Day without one, I'd be doing everything to figure it out.
Being around teammates who've dealt with it, what do you think this is like for Tatis?
I mean, I'm sure for him being one of the leaders on this team, he's acting like it's nothing. But as one of his teammates, you have to make light of it. You have to joke around about it. You have to make sure he's in a good headspace, because he's one of those dogs that is going to carry this team for a long way this season.
And they've asked him too. He said, I have no idea what's going on.
Sweeper for strike 3. Colt Emerson will have his first at bat in the majors, batting second when we come back.
Back in Seattle with Padres manager Craig Stammen, Lucas Giolito, 2 scoreless innings, 1 strikeout. What have you noticed from his stuff so far?
Yeah, he's got his good changeup working, which is his best pitch. So he's relying on that, doing a very good job, getting some pop-ups in the infield. So keeping his pitch count down, he's doing great.
How long can he go?
He can go, you know, as long he's got a full boat today. So we can go as long as he can go, and we'll see how he's feeling. It'll based on effectiveness and how he's feeling.
We hope to get this whole rotation back healthy at some point in the season. Where can he slot in to this rotation?
He can slot in at any spot in the rotation. He's been there, done that. He's had very successful seasons in the big leagues, and we're looking for one from him this year.
Thanks, Trey.
Thank you.
Anthony, you were talking in the bottom of the second about the changeup and the shadows. How do those play together?
It's tough. It's such a bright backdrop here with the shadows right there halfway, or 3/4 of a way. So you're seeing one thing. I say sometimes the changeup's almost better to hit with shadows, because you think it's a fastball and then you slow down a little bit. The shadows here are very tough during the day.
3-0 is in for a strike. It's a fastball to Mitch Garver. 3 balls and a strike. Garver, Emerson, and Crawford. Here in the 3rd inning, Lucas Giolito's allowed just 1 hit, a Luke Raley single, and now 3-2. Here's what it looks like for the batter.
Pete, did you ever play that into how you threw?
Absolutely. I thought that you couldn't see spin very well. If I thought there was any chance that you couldn't pick up the ball, I was spinning it.
3-2 is called strike 3 on a fastball. Giolito locks up Garver. There's 1 away, and here comes the biggest roar of the day. Colt Emerson walks up. First pitch to the young man is a check swing and strike 1. He grew up both a football and baseball player, but he gave up football in New Concord, Ohio, his senior year to focus specifically on baseball. Not long thereafter, the Mariners chose him. He was 22nd overall 3 years ago, and this is a name, Ryan, that's been in the news for the big contract he's gotten, but also what he can do for this team.
Yeah, and just again, I keep going back to the character side, right, where they're investing in him for a long time, and even in spring training too. The question was, okay, how fast, from a fan's point of view, and from me and everyone on the media side, how fast can we get this kid up here? Because he just has that way about him where he kind of understands, first of all, where he's at and how tough this game is. And he has that respect for the game, right? Not taking anything away from other young players, but 19 years old with all that attention. And man, can he play? He can swing it. He's got that plate discipline, that contact, some of that power he's shown lately.
2-2. He tags it for right field. And Ramon Laureano. So 2 down. Colt Emerson flies out in his first major league at bat.
I mean, even right there too. Look, he got a couple pitches up. He was being aggressive. He gets that changeup. He's able to recognize that pitch. Still drive that ball into right field. But everyone's so excited to see Colt Emerson here in a big league uniform.
Jake, do you ever feel a little bit empathy as you got somebody out in their first major league at bat?
Absolutely not, Jason.
Never?
Trying to get them all out, and actually more than that, I was trying to strike them all out.
You're just ruthless to the young kids, Pete.
Nothing bad can happen if you strike somebody out, Jason. The only bad thing can happen is the ball can go to the backstop, but you can actually strike 4 guys out in that inning. It's not really bad.
Well, remember J.R. Ritchie made his debut a couple of weeks ago, and James Wood just teeing off that first pitch.
First pitch.
He's going to get grooved a hitter. And I asked J.R. Ritchie about that when he was in town. He's like, hey, I get it, man. I mean, rookie, going to groove one, trying to get ahead in the count. That first pitch, it's a memorable one. I'm getting after it.
That happened to me in my debut. Soriano hit the first pitch I threw, fastball off the left center field wall.
No way.
Threw 3 straight sliders next to Derek Jeter.
Oh boy, look out. Crawford hit by Giolito. Anthony Rizzo is our resident hit by pitch expert. How's this one specifically feel, Riz?
It's not too bad. A little above the elbow. didn't get the right in the tricep. Mostly muscle there. So it stings. It probably shocked him a little bit there, taking his time.
If you're just joining us, Anthony's been with us a couple of times here on Sunday Night Baseball, and he was hit by a pitch 222 times in his major league career.
Expert.
It's like the board game Operation.
All over the plate. Facing Anthony Rizzo, there was no inside corner. You couldn't even see dirt between where he stood.
On base percentage, fellas.
Unbelievable.
All about on base percentage.
I think we touched a nerve with Jake Peavy here. I don't know that you liked Rizzo being on the plate.
At the time in my career I was facing Anthony Rizzo. He was zero fun to face. I can promise you that.
Crawford is on. Julio Rodriguez grounded out on the first pitch he saw in the first inning. That was to second base. As the Padres have a 1-0 lead on a Gavin Sheets solo home run in the first. Julio snaps at the first one again.
Well, Giolito is going to be careful with that slider. That's a pitch that when Julio can get the ball, especially those break balls, get caught out in front and hit it in the air on the pull side, good things happen. Trying to look for a mistake right here.
On a line to center field, Jackson Merrill is there to retire the side. 1-0 San Diego.
The beach. To Corona, she isn't just a place. She is an element. And with salt and spray, she shoves us relentlessly into the present. That's what's inside every bottle of Corona. So no matter where your journey takes you, with just a squeeze of lime, the beach is always closer than you think. Corona, La Playa awaits.
Colt Emerson was given the call in that AAA lineup, was called up, was scratched there, called up. What went into the decision calling him up this way?
Yeah, it's tough. Brendan Donovan having to go back on the IL and chance for Colt to get up here and have a little leash and get some playing time. And so, that was the decision to make. And it's good to see him up here. I know it's been well anticipated, so getting a chance to play.
What were the conversations you had with him before the game and during the game, if any?
Yeah, I mean, it's, similar to what you tell every kid that comes up is just, be you and don't try to do too much and just be the player that you are and go out there and let it rip. And Colt he's an exceptional kid. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's going to be in great shape.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Dan Wilson, former Mariners catcher, now manager of the Seattle Mariners, detailing the day of Colt Emerson. His team is down 1-0 with Gavin Sheets, who provided the lone run in this game. A legacy player in Major League Baseball. His father, Larry, about a half-decade with the Baltimore Orioles back in the 80s and early 90s. It's 2-1 for Gavin Sheets.
I want to see if George Kirby challenges him on the inner half of the plate. That's the ball Gavin Sheets hit out. That's his bread and butter. He can throw that little sinker that breaks back out over the plate. There's a cutter right there. 3-1.
There was a time where George Kirby was known as Furious George, as a riff on the cartoon. He has worked very steadily on that psychology on the mound as he walks Sheets here. Ball 4 with one away, but he's a different guy now, Ryan.
He is. Look, he's 28 years old, and this is a good time to watch this, right? Where, look, he hates walking people. Who doesn't? You see Pete Woodworth in the middle of your screen, the pitching coach, does such a fantastic job with this entire pitching staff. He has the last couple of years. But also to Adam Bernero, who's the mental performance coach with the Seattle Mariners, has kind of taken George under his wing a little bit and tried to get him to that place that he doesn't get frustrated in little moments like this. And you can keep executing pitches. One of those things they've been doing, Jason and Jake, is painting. Now, Adam Bonero's got the paint, the canvas set up in his office, and there's George Kirby getting stuck into painting. I couldn't believe when I heard it. And I asked George, he kind of rolled his eyes when I brought it up.
He gets a ground ball to shortstop. That's Crawford. He'll feed Young. On to Naylor. That's 2. Exactly what he wanted. The bounce back from the walk. Artistry from Kirby. Tonight's flashback presented by USAA, and as the story goes, the World's Fair was this catalyst for this thing called television. And so in 1939 at Columbia at Baker Field in New York, the first ever televised game by NBC, 1939. That was, by the way, 32 years prior to OSHA being created. As you can see, there may have been 1 or 2 OSHA violations with the 2 cameras there on the wooden planks. We have much safer areas for our camera people here in Seattle, but we have gone from 1.5 camera shoot to substantially more as Lucas Giolito underhands to first for round number 1. Yeah, that is way better. You see Cam out there, way better. 18 cameras compared to the 1.5 sort of. There was one down the third base line at Columbia that day as well. I mean, Anthony Rizzo's got his own camera down there.
I don't know if I'm on it, but I think here too in Seattle, they were kind of the pioneers of the camera that would move in the stadium. I remember a few years ago seeing their broadcast, and the camera that would just kind of sling along the rafters here was such a cool shot.
This one right here, right?
There it is.
There it is.
It's a wire cam or rail cam, and it's the same kind of camera that if you watch NBC's Olympic coverage for swimming, it's the same kind of idea.
I got to say, watching the Olympics on NBC, watching the drones follow some of these athletes down that bobsled course, man, that was epic.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so good.
2 down as Sheets puts away a Rosarena.
I don't know how it'd be if you have a little drone hovering around your head. There's a drone shot.
All you have to do is say drone on this telecast.
Yeah, that's right.
And it shows up. And speaking of NBC television, Lucas Giolito has a family tie to NBC sitcoms of the 90s. His grandfather, Warren Frost. Do we have any Seinfeld fans here?
Yes.
Okay, so his grandfather, Warren, was Susan's dad on Seinfeld.
Wow, okay.
So George's love interest, Susan, who had that problem with the stamps.
Yeah, or lack of love interest.
Yeah, there is Warren Frost on Seinfeld as this is popped up down the third base line into foul territory, and it will get down. And Duhar was unable to make the catch, and that's a play about nothing.
Oh, and Duhar getting a chance to play third base. Manny Machado DHing. That's the one thing with him, and especially signing this deal with the San Diego Padres. Where can you play him? He was primarily DHing, but getting a chance to play in the field. Unable to make that play.
Having to go a long way because they're shifted with the left-hander. But yes, playing third base for Andujar is going to be critical. And as Manny Machado gets older, getting him off his feet, he's a guy that plays every day and staple. Andujar giving him a rest.
Foul again. It feels a little bit like the public address folks in the stadium are watching our telecast because they just played the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
Right.
In the ballpark.
I had that happen to me when we were in San Diego a few years ago. I missed a routine pop-up in foul territory, and they started playing the Curb music. It made me feel about 2 inches tall. It was brutal.
1-2. That's a wave and a miss. Lucas Giolito's changeup dancing in the shadows here in Seattle. What a debut for him in a Padres uniform. Scoreless through 4 for Giolito. And we have the trophy here in the booth. Leo Rivas in at shortstop for J.P. Crawford. Crawford was hit by the pitch in the 3rd inning by Lucas Giolito, and he has come out of the game now. So Rivas is in for Crawford. As it is 1-0 San Diego. Xander Bogaerts at the plate. And George Kirby, who's thrown 54 pitches.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're hoping that's just ice and a bruise for J.P. Crawford. You get another look. Ooh, off the tricep. But they've just been riddled with these injuries. Obviously, Brendan Donovan hitting the IL. Cal Raleigh as well. JP, who's just been so good in this lineup, usually hitting further down the lineup. They need this offense to get consistent. They need everyone to be healthy.
Just throwing arm. Probably knotting up, having trouble throwing the ball from deep shortstop.
So Rivas comes in. He was originally in the lineup in the Emerson spot, as that's cued foul by Xander Bogaerts.
And guys, I was talking about George Kirby getting stuck into the painting in Adam Bonero, the mental performance coach's office. Now, I asked him, I said, what are you painting? Like, what are we doing, landscapes? He goes, no, I'm painting my pitches going into the strike zone. You know, when you see like the StatCast, I was like, really?
Wow.
He said it was like a visualization thing. I said, yeah, are you that obsessed with baseball? You can't get away from baseball and maybe do some nice, you know, landscape or whatever it may be.
Yeah, just a pond, maybe.
Yeah, just a pond,
a sky.
But no, he's basically, it's like a visualization thing where he's painting the streaks of the ball going into the strike zone.
Now, as you're saying that about the injuries and the freak accidents for the Mariners, Mitch Garver takes one in the foot on the foul ball from Bogaerts.
Now, a guy who's a little back issue of late as well. Takes one off the foot.
You talked about the Cal Raleigh injury. He's on the IL after just breaking that 0 for 38. And this is covering defensively, and Cal Raleigh meandering over into foul ground. He feels something pull, and so he ends up on the IL after a really rough start to his year, Ryan.
And you talk to so many people around this organization. Matter of fact, even nationally, how tough Cal Raleigh is. And to see him, that reaction, you know he's playing through some pain. He was scratched from a lineup about a week ago. He said his side was hurting him coming off a road trip. He decided to be back in the lineup. They decided to put him back in the lineup just a couple days later. And you see him down there on the road in Houston. Not a good sign, but hopefully some of the, you know, the looking at some of the images they've looked at, hopefully it's okay. But man, those side injuries, I don't know if Anthony Rizzo's ever had to deal with an oblique, but they can be tricky.
No, you know, it's surprising with the big guys. We used to always say you can't pull fat. Right. So mostly the skinnier guys are the guys that were in better shape, although round is a shape. It was usually the skinnier guys that had the oblique issues.
So that's why I never had the oblique. Okay.
There we go. We got a challenge here. We have a challenge powered by T-Mobile. A challenge of Chad Fairchild's strike zone. It's either ball 4 or strike 3. It is just off the plate.
Seattle has 1 remaining.
Wow. By 1 guitar string.
I'll tell you what, Mitch Garver has been money on the challenges this year as well. He was on a streak. He had 9 straight. But that one just missing the strike zone.
Be the low E string.
That's what one it was.
There you go.
Be the only one that could fit it between That and the plate. The other ones are too fat.
Here's Jackson Merrill. And ball one. Jake Peavy, by the way, has spent this entire half inning holding on to the trophy in this series. It's the Vetter Cup, and Jake Peavy never feels more at home than either on a mound or holding a guitar, we've learned so far tonight. There goes Bogaerts, and no throw. It's a stolen base for Xander Bogaerts. He is 6 for 6 this year on the bases.
I'll tell you what, a couple things on this one. First of all, getting a good jump at George Kirby, just being a little slow. He is a guy who holds the ball a ton. And you can see Mitch Garver as well. Let's not forget, he had that little foot injury. They know about the back issue. He's going to be a little tardy getting up. That pop time behind the plate. Good time for Xander to run.
In the air, down the left field line, into the shadows, and playable for Arozarena. Well positioned on that fly ball to the opposite field for Merrill, and one away. Boy, this is the new frontier in Major League Baseball. And hitters have said publicly across the board, there are just some balls I hit, and I think they're doubles, and they're not. Anthony, I know you felt that.
There's nothing worse than hitting a ball in the gap or somewhere on the field, and then you look up, you take a few steps out of the box, you look up, and it's caught. And you're saying, what are we doing here now? The guys are just everywhere.
They're multiplying defensively as Laureano swings through that nasty sweeper for Kirby.
Yeah, it used to be slugged down the lines, and not anymore. I remember years ago when the shift was still in play, Manny Machado made a play in Milwaukee at the right field wall because he was shifted from third to playing that I call it the nickelback.
Yeah,
there, the roving safety in right field.
Here's Jake Peavy, by the way. He's been holding this guitar all half inning. How is it?
It's amazing. Look at it. I mean, are you kidding me? I want to take this thing home with me.
That is cool.
But absolutely. What a trophy. Is there a cool trophy?
Yeah, it's epic. Got the Eddie Vedder signature up here on the autograph up on the. Look at that thing.
Will you play us something during the break?
Absolutely.
Jason, I did say earlier, when this 9th inning rolls out, Jake's putting on a concert up here for us with that very guitar.
He'd do it.
You would, wouldn't you?
Of course. I do get shy when it comes to playing the guitar. Normally there's some liquid courage involved at times.
Here's a water. Got a water for you.
Yeah.
But no, I feel right at home. Watching a baseball game, strumming a guitar.
There you go.
Pinch me.
I do think there's something to it. Yeah, we're showing the trophy and all that, but there's something to pitchers as creatives, right? You're talking about George Kirby as an artist. We've heard about Dylan Cease, who like manufactures his own honey, among other things.
Right.
You know, Giolito's family is in the arts. There's something to pitchers and creativity and visualizing pitch movement, especially nowadays. Ryan, do you have any deep-seated?
I knew you were going to see me up for this. I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't have Jake Peavy's guitar ability.
But there is something to that, right? The visualization.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know what? Too much time on their hands, too. That's the other part of this.
Well, we were talking about it pregame with Craig Stammen being the only pitcher manager in the big leagues, right?
Right.
And I said they're pitchers for a reason.
Best athletes on the field.
They wish they were position players at some point in their life, and they had to settle to become pitchers. So they do have a lot of time on their hands.
He did say that to us. Stammen did. He said I was too slow to be a position player, but he made a great career out of it as a Washington National, and now the manager of the Padres. 2-2 for Laureano, and he sends it flying foul down the right field side.
I'd be lying if I said I did not get jealous all the time of the pitcher's lifestyle. Especially the starters, man, or the back end relievers where they show up in the 6th
right
to the bullpen. But the starters, John Lester going to golf at all the prime golf courses all across the country on his off days.
Spring training, just strolling across the field after 5 innings, right? When you weren't pitching, just cruising.
Oh, now they don't even stay, so for the most part.
There's that sweeper again, which sometimes needs an exorcism from Kirby. Ryan, that thing is just disgusting.
It's such a good pitch. I talked about his arm angle last year with it dipping a little bit, coming back from the shoulder issue. One issue he had to overcome was trying to get that pitch below the strike zone. This year with the higher arm angle, we talked about that 2-seam from that, but that sweeper has just been absolutely filthy. It's kind of that nice little hybrid between the curveball and the slider that goes straight down.
There goes Bogaerts again. He is into third. Xander Bogaerts has stolen second and third. He's running like that 19-year-old you knew, Peeve.
He's understanding when to run and taking his chances. George with a big leg kick again there. That's how he got to second base. And then if you're going to give him third, I know it's with 2 outs, but now a ball in the dirt becomes in play. Xander's a heads-up baseball player, a professional, showing you there.
Now with a wild pitch, you end up with a run as it's 0-1 for Ty France. And if this weren't the Vetter Cup, it could be the Ty France Bowl. He has played for both. He came to Seattle in a deal with Andres Munoz back in 2020 and now a San Diego Padre. He's 0-2 on Kirby. And that is a base hit to right. Ty France deposits an RBI single in front of the right fielder Raley, and it's 2-0 San Diego.
This was that sweeper again that didn't just quite get away. And this is what I told you about the San Diego Padres and being a complete roster. And the guys who are filling in around the superstars are professional hitters. Ty France, beautiful 2-strike approach. Just taking what the defense and pitcher gives you, scoring a run.
I'll tell you what, George Kirby saw him do that in a Mariners uniform for those years he was here as an all-star, with 2 strikes, just shooting that ball to right field.
First pitch popped up by Fermin. Who's got it? It is the oncoming rookie Emerson to make the catch, but San Diego doubles its lead. You to America's pastime. With Anthony Rizzo downstairs, Ryan Roland Smith, Jake Peavy, Jason Benetti, our entire marvelous crew here on Sunday Night Baseball as Lucas Giolito throws strike 1 to the 22-year-old second baseman for Seattle, Cole Young, who made his major league debut 2 weeks from today last year. And checks his swing to foul it away. Jake, you were a Cy Young winner with the Padres in 2007. Your opinion so far of Lucas Giolito today?
Well, you're seeing a professional pitcher, somebody who's 31 years old and have got experience at this league. You're wondering what you were going to get. The moment hasn't been too big. He's used 3 pitches for the most part. The first time through, it was fastball, little slider, cutter, and the changeup. The second time through, you're starting to see him mix in the bigger breaking ball down in the 70s. That's experience. Hitting his timing, Jason. Pitching is just disrupting that timing. He's doing a great job of that.
Ground ball to first base. Ty France, who just drove in a run at the top of the 5th, handles out number 1.
I feel like too, Giolito is one of those guys. You saw this last year. If he's one of these guys who can get settled in and get that good feel for that changeup, he just gets better and better as the game goes along. And as he gets into that second time, third time through, and you can keep that breaking ball in the back pocket or just limit the breaking ball, especially, you just have that another weapon where these hitters just haven't seen, where you can land and get some sneaky outs.
Especially if you haven't seen the changeup in a while.
Well, there it is right there. And it told me from the first inning, he went 3-1 to the first batter and then threw a 3-1 changeup to J.P. Crawford. That tells you right there he loves it, not afraid to throw it anytime.
The other part of this is, too, you with a new team, he's been around. Craig Stammen said, look, he's been in and out with this team in regards to being around the guys. But brand new team, you signed late, didn't have a spring training. You had a rough rehab, lead up into this. Call it a rehab, call it a lead in.
And Duhar at third, 2 down. Hold that thought. We're back with more after this.
At Ace, no matter how you grill, we've got the perfect one for you. Because only your local Ace has all the best brands in one place, like Weber, Big Green Egg, Traeger, and Blackstone. That sounds pretty perfect.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
2 down, Mitch Garver, the batter from Lucas Giolito. You were saying, right?
Yeah, I've been there before where you're coming back, whether it's rehab outings or just, slowly getting your way back into it. And it didn't go smooth. Look, he had that good outing the last time before he came here to on a major league field. But you get on that plane, head down here to the T-Mobile, you kind of second guessing. You can be second guessing yourself. But the minute you get settled in, you land a couple 3-1 changeups, so you get that first strikeout. You can just take your breaths, ease into it, and then cruise as he is right now into the 5th inning.
Well, he found it late last year with Boston. That was a high arching fly ball to left field. Sheets is back. He's at the warning track. And before the wall caved in on him, he makes the catch for another 1-2-3 inning for Giolito. To batter up with FanDuel, here's a live look at Gavin Sheets' batter up odds for his 3rd plate appearance. That will come up 3rd in the inning as Fernando Tatis Jr. fouls away strike 1 from George Kirby. We mentioned Kirby is from Rye, New York, Rye High School. And with the NBA playoffs going on, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that that's the same high school as NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Fly ball to right field by Tatis, and there's one away. Luke Raley makes the catch. There is one away. For those expecting to see Spurs Timberwolves Game 7, it didn't happen. So we're going to the Western Conference Finals. Wemby and the Spurs against the MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is going to be a dynamite series. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow, 8 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. One down, and Duhart takes ball 1. Do we have anybody who wants to go out on a limb on who's going to win the Western Conference Finals?
Jake and I just looked at
Don't everybody run to the podium.
Anthony?
It's going to be a whale of a series, by the way.
Hey, I got a chance to meet Wemby when right before he got drafted.
Did you?
Yeah, he came to Yankee Stadium, and I saw him grip. There's a famous picture of him gripping the baseball. I don't know if it's famous or not, but he came in, took a few swings in our batting cage. I looked straight up at him. He made Aaron Judge look small, which is impossible to do.
How were the swings?
Not good, not good. But I mean, he is an impressively large human being.
Isn't it wild what he can do on a basketball court?
I mean, I've been a fan of his ever since I met him, and the fact that I don't know if you've seen his stretching routines, but his mobility is off the charts. He could do splits. He stretches. He's like a master yogi.
How about that? Anthony Rizzo, the inside scoop on Wemby's visit to Yankee Stadium. 1-2 on Andujar.
We also bailed Jake and I out when you put us on the spot as to who we got on in that series.
Well, Ryan, I know you're not like the hugest cricket fan based on your public comments
Yeah,
sometimes
right,
about baseball
right.
comparing. I don't know what you watch. 2-2 is smoke to right center field. That is way back there, and it'll be playable off the wall for Rodriguez. And Duhart coasts into second base. He tomahawks a ball into the alleyway with a 1-out double. He went up and got that, Jake.
He did, using the top hand here, but still staying through the middle of the field. George Kirby trying to sneak that four-seamer up in the zone by him, and Duhart going too good for it to happen.
Now, I tell you what, we've talked about the struggles with Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis with some of the power outage, but what about Andujar signing that deal? He's been raking this year, especially with 2 strikes too. Some really good contact, couple hits in this series with 2 strikes. Tough pitch to get.
He's at second for Gavin Sheets. Anthony, you saw Miguel Andujar close up with the Yankees.
Oh yeah, great dude. Always in a good mood. Always happy to be at the ballpark, and love seeing him have success. He's bounced around the last few years, but to see what he's doing here in San Diego now is fun.
He's at second. 1-0 to Sheets. That's in there on a sweeper.
Interesting to see right here how he goes after Sheets with this base open, getting Manny to ground into double play. Don Sutton told me one time, Jason, when I was trying to go through an Atlanta lineup, pick your lineup. You're not trying to beat each individual guy. Pick your outs.
Sheets lays into another one. My goodness, Gavin Sheets. His second home run and a 4-0 Padres lead.
You hit the fastball out. You should probably look for something soft in the zone. After the last at bat with no fastballs thrown, I guarantee you Sheets in that Padre dugout were looking for something soft. And again, very surprising that George Kirby went after him right there with 2 right-handers on deck, already losing 2-0.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those things. We're talking about this with George Kirby. The difference this year has been getting out of the strike zone when he gets frustrated. Now, we saw that at bat against Freddie Fermin, who kind of bailed him out of that little pop-up last inning. And then Gavin Sheets, Jake, you mentioned it. And as a matter of fact, Anthony Rizzo asked Dan Wilson about this before the game. Hey, is there any ever a talk about getting him out of the strike zone a little bit more? Because when he gets frustrated, this is what he does. He gets on that challenge just a little bit too much. And you can see what Gavin Sheets does. Some damage right here, just getting after that hitter middle of the plate.
He just showed his hand. His last at bat, he didn't throw Gavin any fastballs. It showed him that after that first at bat and he took it deep, that he was off of it. He didn't trust it enough to throw it. Gavin knew that. And again, I'm just very surprised he pitched to him in that situation.
You felt like the last time on the walk, right? That was a sort of pitch around.
That's exactly what he did. I thought that he pitched around him last time, not throwing him, understanding two right-handers are on deck. And again, when Don Sutton came down there that day, I was panicking, going, I'm getting Sheffield, Jones, Javi Lopez, and he goes, Jake, look, we're going to beat this lineup. Where are your outs?
That's smoke to left on a line. A sizzler for Manny Machado to the left field corner, and that's 3 straight extra base hits for San Diego. It's a little early tonight. Usually it's beyond the 7th inning they turn on the ignition. But San Diego powers through the 2, 3, 4 spots in the order.
And you had that feeling too with this Padres lineup. Even Manny Machado, who's hitting under 200, keeps making all these adjustments with his hands, trying to figure it out. But they are on the verge, and we've seen this series, that this lineup, how capable they are. They're on the verge of everyone getting hot at the right time.
Think about the spark Tatis is going to give this team when he hits his first home run.
Absolutely.
If I'm in that dugout, I'm going to have all the confetti poppers ready. Instead of giving them the silent treatment, I might go out on the field like it's the World Baseball Classic and celebrate like your team Dominican or team Venezuela after a home run.
It is a great point that what they have done, and if they win this game tonight, San Diego would be 10 over 500 without a home run from Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, it's amazing.
His attitude has been surprisingly upbeat. I promise you, I've been around this team. He has not portrayed a guy who haven't hit a homer. I think a lot has to do with his teammates and the guys keeping him positive. And then again, the team winning ball games.
I mean, you see the shot that our director John Moore just had there of him smiling with Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets just had his 6th career multi-home run game. Fernando doesn't have a home run, and they're both just taking it in.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
He's grown up, matured a lot over the past few years.
And guys in that clubhouse will feed off of that. When your superstars are grinding, but they're staying at that superstar status, they're staying the course, they know that how good they are, that pays off through the rest of the clubhouse.
The Dodgers won again today to take care of the Angels in a sweep of that series, but San Diego is just a game back, and coming up this week is a 3-game series between the Dodgers and Padres. Truly one of the best rivalries going in Major League Baseball, especially considering that 2024 playoff series that really changed the fate of baseball over the past couple of seasons as Bogart strikes out. San Diego was up 2-1 in a 5-game series, Jake. If they win one of those last 2, maybe the last 2 championships for the Dodgers don't happen.
That's exactly right. We talk about the Dodgers being a super team, but the Padres certainly thought they let one get away a couple years ago. You got to give the Dodger team credit, though. They have bend but don't break. They have found ways to get it done. Everybody in the West and in baseball is chasing a dynasty in the Dodgers.
We just saw Craig Stammen too before the game. We asked because Mason Miller had to go inning plus that first game. You were questioning whether or not he'd be available, but you look at this 4-0 lead, kind of making it him breathe a little easier right now going into that Dodgers series with Mason Miller potentially getting another day off. And it'll be the first time they're playing the Dodgers too, which is kind of weird when you think about it this deep into the season.
It certainly is. That's going to happen a few places this week. The Tigers and Guardians have not played yet. The AL Central rivalry as well. But that bullpen could use a bit of a relaxation day. The headliners in that bullpen have been well used. Jackson Merrill, a long fly ball deep to right field, and that ball clangs off the wall. The Padres add on. Merrill Criswell slams one to right center, and it's 5-0.
And again, with George Kirby just looking up, seeing the fact these team has scored 0 runs, and this is what I'm talking about, where it's not a situation where he gets frustrated, starts spraying the ball. It's the complete around the strike zone. It's the complete opposite, where he gets on the attack, ends up middle of the plate, and Dan Wilson's going to come out. That's going to be it for George Kirby.
Jackson Merrill had seen so many high fastballs in this series. They go breaking ball, high fastball. He hammers and knocks out Kirby. On Peacock. First up, the Pirates visit the Blue Jays on Sunday leadoff. And in primetime, the Rangers head to Los Angeles to take on the Angels on Sunday Night Baseball live on Peacock and NBC SN. Tell you what, the AL West is very much wide open. George Kirby is not going to love this start. San Diego is threatening to win all 6 this year between the Padres and the Mariners, but a tough start and a tough close to the start for George Kirby, and he gives way to Cooper Criswell here in the 6th.
Yeah, it's tough too, especially when you have Logan Gilbert, who was your opening day starter, struggle against this team last night. You need that starting pitching with the offense trying to find its groove to be as good as what they can be. But yeah, this is a tough one, trying to salvage this series, especially with George Kirby on the mound. Struggles today.
He did go around there. Chad Whitson with the call of the strike. As we know, there's no definition of check swing in the Major League rulebook.
Got to be coming soon, right?
Maybe. I mean, they're in the minors. They're using electronic systems to test check swing.
I would think with all the new technology that there would be some way that we could do that. If you watch this game yesterday, huge check swing call, got Dan Wilson ejected. Just be nice to have a definitive answer.
I'm with you. Some definition of some kind, and the league's resisted it for various reasons. Like there's no real accepted definition. Did he break the plane?
Right.
Did his wrists break? I mean, you pitchers both.
I think
everything's a swing, right?
Yeah, if that bat moves an inch, yes, swing.
That comes an off-speed pitch here. Oh no.
Why'd you feel an off-speed pitch coming?
You got Merrill there at second base doing a couple different things, jumping around, staying still on fastballs and off speed. But I was wrong on that one, but it'd be something to look for.
Oh, you're paranoid too with the rest of the league, aren't you?
No, it's not paranoia. It's an edge. You're at second. If you're a pitcher and you're giving it away, we'll take it.
No, but everybody thinks, everybody in this league has a staff member or two dedicated to that.
Well, the Mariners have Danny Farquhar. And matter of fact, Anthony Rizzo, you remember the Yankees last year with Munoz. There was a game middle of the season. It was, I mean, now just very transparent about it. Yeah, we had the slider. We knew when he was moving that glove around.
There was a game when I was with the Yankees where a guy on the Guardians was I was at first base, Judge was at second base. I was relaying the sign from first to second to Judge. Then Judge was relaying to the hitter because he was showing me his grip in his glove. So those are the little edges in the game that if you can eliminate pitches or you know something's coming, it helps.
How'd you relay it?
I would just give him like a little arm movement or something at the time. I don't really remember, but we weren't banging trash cans or anything like that, but we were.
Oh, come now.
Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with if you can pick it up off the field or decipher what's coming. That's right. I will tell you this. I know a lot of teams are acting like they have it just because the paranoia and just trying to create a little bit of that.
Oh, absolutely. If you're at second base and you can deke the pitchers and get in their head, again, it's just another advantage for the hitter.
I mean, Josh Naylor, famous for doing that. He's been doing it this year as well. Did in the postseason last year against the Detroit Tigers. And again, you look at that guy, he probably don't have the pitches, but you keep turning around, looking at that, you start to second guess a little bit some of those pitches. It takes that edge off for sure.
I've been in hitters meetings where it's been talked about. Hey, we don't have anything, make them think we have something.
Really?
Absolutely.
2-2.
I'll tell you what, though, I pitched before the PitchCom days. I remember there was a few buddies of mine on the other team. You'd be on getaway day and you'll get a text message, hey man, we had your signs right there. Sign after 2 or a head behind even, whatever you were given. You know, that catcher was throwing down the fingers. It's like, yeah, we had him. I'm like, yeah, thanks for letting me know.
That's a good
appreciate
buddy.
that. as you leave in town.
Bloop to shallow center. That's down. It's a base hit for France, and it's 2 more for San Diego. The Padres make it 7-love. This is a deep lineup, Jake Peavy.
It is. This is just a really nice piece of hitting, staying long through the zone. Off-speed pitch, change up, just doing enough off the end of the bat. But again, that's what you're trying to do. To win in the postseason, you got to have lineup length, and everybody's got to work together. You can't have any easy or first couple pitch outs in there when you're really trying to grind a pitcher. You think about the Toronto Blue Jays run and how they were able to get past this Mariner team, in my opinion, was they had less swing and miss. The Padres are trying to recreate some of that.
I know it's hard to say that, and I'll say it again, it is a deep lineup, but it's hard to say that when they're 26th in slugging. They haven't done it yet this year, but the names and the history suggest they're going to get there.
You don't have to slug. People think you do, but I just talked about the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're last in home runs, but 3rd in runs in the league because they hit with runners in scoring position. They draw walks. They don't strike out. They put the ball in play, and good things happen sometimes. So scoring runs, offense is a lot of different ways to do that. If you don't have slug and your ballpark doesn't allow that, you find other ways.
You see those numbers on the bottom of the order for San Diego. 5 through 9 have been carrying, 6 through 9 have been carrying San Diego. And we asked Craig Stammen, who's playing non-pitcher for a second, showing the swing. We asked him about what he would have thought, and he said, I wouldn't have thought you have the start from the top of the lineup that you've had, and it would correlate with the record, but that's what's happened for San Diego.
I said this early in the game. You feel like this is potentially that series for the San Diego Padres where some of those bigger bats at the top of the lineup. Is this the series where all of a sudden they start taking off and getting beyond some of the earlier struggles?
Also, what helps San Diego here is you've had Jason Adam and you have Morihone as well in the bullpen, who've gone back-to-back days.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about overloading other pieces of the front end of your bullpen.
For sure.
With the Dodgers coming up.
Yeah, it makes it that much easier, obviously, on Craig Stammen when you're sitting there and they're going through these different scenarios before the game, how they're going to piece this together, get that last win. And you also said, too, we mentioned the Dodgers series coming up, but you said they're all weighted the same. Every win counts. And the Mariners on the flip side, too. I mean, look, Julio off to a better start this year. Josh Naylor's starting to rate. But they brought in a Brendan Donovan. They wanted to have better situational hitting. And they're, in the month of May, they're 29th runners in scoring position. They're still down up there with swing and miss. You mentioned the Blue Jays, knocking them out last year. The fact that they're able just to make better contact in that series.
This is the first time San Diego's had 4 extra base hits in an inning since June 8th of 2024. And they've done it with hard contact, 1 strikeout, a walk mixed in as well against Kirby and Criswell.
Giolito's been sitting for a long time over there. It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back.
Yeah.
And we will see how he does that in the bottom of the 6th when we come back. But a big number for the Padres, trying to sweep the season series from Seattle. Colt Emerson's second major league at bat. He takes ball number 1 from Lucas Giolito. Emerson, the 20-year-old from New Concord, Ohio. It's east of Columbus in Ohio, and he went to high school at what was once New Concord High School, but the name changed to John Glenn High School because the most famous resident of New Concord, Ohio, ended up in orbit. There's ball 3. So Emerson trying to get on base for the first time in his major league career and create a big rally for the Mariners here. 3-0. Takes a fastball and a strike. 3-1.
Should get off a good swing here if he decides to.
Giolito's got to go change up, right? Play off the young kid's aggression right here.
I'm going heater, Riz. 7-0 lead. Nope, you're right.
You're old school.
Well, look, Anthony Rizzo would know. Anthony Rizzo would know because he did walk 5 times against Lucas Giolito. So he's got a good read on him. Right, Riz?
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much just stayed away from me, but just.
Is that why you were 0 for 8?
Well, yeah. Well, I did walk, so again, on base percentage, right? But young players in this league, man, they get aggressive. They're taught to be aggressive. So I like Giolito there, going the off speed. But you're right, Pete. Being up 7, probably attacking him as well.
Well, that right there was just close to being a double, and now you've got something going. I'm making them earn their way on with a 7-0 lead. It's my fault the way I look at it for getting behind. Now you got to pay the piper and throw that fastball, even though he knows it's coming. Better locate it.
That was really close to that double for Rivas, who's in at the top of the card for J.P. Crawford, who left after a hit by pitch. I joke, Riz, about the 0 for 8 against Giolito, but you're right, just looking at the at-bats, he was pretty much almost exclusively away to you as a left-hander.
Yeah, and I try to get more on the plate against him, but his changeup, man, that's an equalizer. And when guys had good changeup like that, to me, it was a tough at bat for me.
What does that changeup look like to a left-hander like Rivas here?
It looks like the fastball out of the hand, and then he pulls the parachute on it. It's a straight changeup with a little fade at the end. He throws the 2-seamer off of that too, so it's an equalizer.
Rivas cranks it foul first base side, but that's what you do to that changeup, right, Anthony, as a left-hander? You pull it foul.
Well, later on in my career, facing him or facing like a Kevin Gausman who also has a nasty changeup, I would just move up in the box and just totally commit to the fastball, and then if they did throw the good changeup, hopefully my mindset was hopefully I could just foul it off.
Was it the arm speed or the movement for you?
It was the movement. I just didn't see it that well, so I didn't pick up those changeups, those straight changeups or the splits as good as other guys in this league.
2-2, Giolito to Rivas. He goes fastball there.
You just don't see guys late on 90 miles an hour, so that tells you everything of how good a guy's changeup is.
Yeah, it's a great point, Riz. It's something that I want to teach the youth even more of. Everybody wants to spin it. As soon as the kid starts to pitch, he wants to throw a curveball. The changeup is the next best pitch off of it because you just can't tell the difference if it's properly thrown.
There's a rare slider for him. He's only gotten 1 out on that slider today, 3-2. What do you guys like here? What do you think? 3-2.
I want to see him challenge him right here. Go for hitter at the top of the strike zone. That was a big pitch for him last year.
It has to be the fastball. Went back to it.
Buried a changeup. It's back-to-back walks. 2 on, nobody out. Julio Rodriguez up after this.
With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary trips. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
You know, Jake, you said it during the break. Lucas Giolito was on the bench for a long while.
I know that Rhino's been through this as well. This is not easy to do, to stay engaged, keep your body. It was such a nice rhythm to the game when both starting pitchers were going. You'd do anything in the world to score for your team to score 5 runs and give you this lead. But we certainly haven't seen him as sharp, and this is exactly what you cannot do with a 7-run lead. Walk the first 2 guys of the inning. It's why I would say in those at-bats, you've got to throw the fastball. Our good buddy Riz, John Lackey, would tell me sometimes, Peeve, he knows it's coming, and sometimes you know you got to throw it. Those were situations, again, you had chances to put Rivas away right there. I'm making them hit their way on, taking my chances.
Especially right there. I could see with the Emerson, him being aggressive. It's his first game, right? But right there, you got to just let him hit it, and you can't put guys on, give him a free pass.
Now you better make some pitches.
I'll tell you what, it is that balance. I mean, I felt like with my stuff, I couldn't survive if it was a situation where you get that big lead. And you can see right now.
We have a pitch timer violation against Lucas Giolito.
I think he was talking about him making eye contact as well, with Julio having to look up, make eye contact with Giolito. Giolito getting a little quick.
Yeah, so if you don't engage with each other, the batter has to do it at 8 seconds. So I believe he did call ball 1 there. So Giolito to Rodriguez, and he's got a strike. So it is 1-1. You have to engage. That's twice, he said. So evidently there was a warning earlier from Chad Fairchild on that. Usually they won't give the ball on the first one.
Yeah, he gave him a warning back in the first inning. There was a bit of talk back and forth. Craig Stammen was asking what was going on as well. Here we are in the 6th.
2-1 to Julio Rodriguez. That is ball 3. So Giolito having the zone escape him.
And also, too, look, sitting down for that long, it's such a good point. Obviously, the heater is 88 to 90 right now. Trying to get that heart rate up a little bit. Even the changeup, too, just losing that command. Not to mention, first game back in the big leagues.
It's a great point. First game back in the big leagues. His adrenaline, I know he's done it for a long time, but it doesn't matter when it's your first game. You're like a little kid with your adrenaline. So I'm sure some of that's worn off, sitting down for a while. It's all factoring into right now.
Got a huge pitch in mind here. 3-2. And it's fouled away.
And just back to that big lead, too. I used to hate it when a pitching coach or whoever would come up and say, hey, look, we've got a big lead. Just go out there and be on the attack. Because stuff-wise for me, I didn't have the stuff to be like, coughing up heaters middle of the plate. And I wanted to be the best version of myself. I didn't want to give up runs. I know it sounds selfish, but man, I felt like I was better suited if I just put the scoreboard in the out of sight and just get after hitters the same way I would if it was a close game. You can play on your mind a little bit when you get that big lead. Feel like you got to have a quick out. And all of a sudden you walk the first 2 hitters.
3-2 from Giolito again. And Rodriguez fouls it away. The other piece of this is he had been getting quick outs. The last 2 innings for Giolito combined were 18 pitches. Now he's gone walk, full count.
Well, this is his ball game right here.
On 3-2 to Rodriguez. And he missed. It's a challenge coming from Fermin.
Catcher is challenging.
It's either ball 4 or strike 3, and it looked like ball 4. It's an ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile, and that's not even close. Fermin trying to help his new teammate. Giolito has walked the bases loaded, and the Mariners have a pulse in a big way. And that is, let's see if it's going to be all. Josh Naylor's the hitter. Matsui was warming, and it will be left on left. Craig Stammen will go out to get his pitcher, Giolito, who will leave with the lead, but we'll see how fortified that lead is with the bases loaded and nobody out for Seattle. Crazy train blaring in the background. We'll see how wild it gets. Three base runners all on walks, and Yuki Matsui, the Japanese-born 30-year-old left-hander, is on the hill, but he is in a big problem here, Riz. Lucas Giolito leaves after walking 3.
Yeah, Pete, what are you guys thinking, Rhino, on the bench right now? What kind of prayers are you saying? No outs, bases loaded.
Well,
sharp breaking ball from Matsui. That thing looked like it froze in midair and then broke.
There is nothing worse when you come off, especially too when you're cruising. Then you finish, you kind of leave, again, not getting ahead of ourselves here, but Lucas Giolito leaves the game. First game back, you're thinking about how you finish, right? You always want to finish strong. And I know he's going to push through some thresholds as he gets healthier, but there's nothing worse right now sitting on the bench and you look at it, you go, okay, who's coming in after me? You just hope it's someone who's just going to get after it and get some quick outs. Limit some of these runners you left stranded.
Yeah, I'm saying some prayers for my guy who's out there with my runners on base. But again, you just want outs in this situation, no matter how you can get them, even if these runs touch home plate.
Check swing, no go. Third base umpire Brian Walsh waves it off. It's 2-1. Matsui can get swing and miss, certainly, but not there. Naylor held up.
Man, this year he's been better against righties than he has lefties. Righties only hitting 125 against him. Lefties hitting 214. And a whole other slug. It's a tough matchup against Josh Naylor,
who's been phenomenal in his career with the bases loaded. 2-1. Naylor swings through strike 2. Matsui, for the most part, has stayed away from Naylor. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and time called by Naylor now.
I thought Naylor was a big add to this ball club last year, giving them some added attitude and just some grease of experience, a winner, a guy who wants it.
Giolito's stare, to Anthony's point, watching the festivities now. 2-2 from Matsui. Down and out, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And these are the at-bats he gives you, and that's the thing about Josh Naylor too. You mentioned some of that attitude he had last year. Even earlier this year when he was struggling, the team was struggling out the gates. He was in the clubhouse chirping to everyone, but down 7-0. He's treating this like it's nothing, trying to shoot one of these sliders into left field.
3-2. Naylor takes ball 4. That's 4 straight walks to the Mariners' first run. It is 7-1, and you never know.
When you're down, you're just worried about base runners and passing the baton. That's exactly what Seattle has done here from big-time help from the Padres pitchers.
By the way, Reeves, you're asking about being Lucas Giolito in that situation. When you're Matsui in that situation, you're giving up your teammates' runs. Oh, there's no lonelier feeling out in the mound.
Look out for a first pitch swing here. Rosarena loves the first pitch. He hits it skyward into right field. Nobody saw it at first, and eventually Merrill ranges over to make the catch. Laureano was blind to where the ball was. It ends up being a sacrifice fly, but it could have been much worse.
Randy just misses this ball. Big break for Matsui, because this was a quarter-inch away from being a grand slam and us having a real tight ball game. But Jackson Merrill, seeing it off the bat, does a nice job protecting his right fielder who did not see the ball, getting it back in quick.
Yeah, man, he did a great job staying with that. By the way, Julio Rodriguez going back and tagging in that situation. He's looked out and saw Laureano throwing his hands up, looked like it was beyond him. He could have easily tried to take off and sneak in that second run, but able to tag up and get to third base.
Now Dan Wilson trailing by 5. As he's prone to do, he will go with the platoon hitter Rob Refsnyder here, pinch hitting for Raley, trying to get back in the game. He'll take the better matchup here, but as you said, Ryan, this season Matsui has been just about equally as tough on lefties as righties.
Yeah, and for Rob Refsnyder, you know, traditionally his career has handled lefties, but it's been a slower start for him. That's why he came to the Seattle Mariners. That's why they picked him up for this situation. It hasn't been quite that way just yet. Only hitting .111 against lefties. Career .300 hitter against southpaws.
Well, you see that first pitch there. That splitter is why he's so tough on righties and lefties combined.
There goes Naylor. He measured it beautifully.
Man. Talked about when he came over to the Seattle Mariners last year, one of the elements besides the hit tool was the base running, just disrupting innings. And look, I know they're down by a lot. Look at this. He just understands it. He's been watching video of Matsui, all these guys. Picks up some of those tendencies and just takes off. Gets those huge jumps. One of the slowest guys in baseball.
That ball's lifted to right field. Laureano is back. He's got this one. He makes the catch. You know, the Mariners, as we showed you, have not been great with runners in scoring position, but they've turned in a couple productive outs to chisel away at this lead. Refsnyder makes it 7-3.
And the other question here, too, we talked about the bullpen usage for the San Diego Padres. Who's going to be available? If this gets a little bit closer, gets a little bit more out of hand in this 6th inning, tell you what, Craig Stemmen's got to figure out how he's going to deploy that bullpen with a couple of those arms, Jason, you mentioned, that were down.
In a game where Seattle has 1 hit, Ryan, the Mariners are within 4. Those are all on Giolito's tab. And now Cole Young will bat for himself with a runner at 3rd and 2 down. The first pitch to strike from Matsui. If you are Dave Roberts, you are watching this game going, you know what? maybe a couple more runs, maybe force him to use Mason Miller, maybe see if Morejón would go 3 days in a row. The next few innings could very much impact the Padres-Dodgers series coming up in a separation of 1 game in that division. I know it's early, but those games speak to a tiebreaker for later on in the year.
They're going to be intense too. Petco Park's as good of a venue as in baseball, and it will be rocking to start the week.
Yeah, midweek games even in San Diego, and there are some places where you go midweek and school's still happening. Midweek games are a party too in San Diego.
It is an absolute scene at Petco, and for somebody who watched that stadium open, to see where it's progressed and what baseball means to fans in San Diego is special.
1-2 to Cole Young. Off the fists and foul. How about this inning, guys? There can't be very many innings in Major League history that go walk, 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 sack fly, sack fly.
Sounds like a Little League game, except for the sack fly.
All the 3-2 counts too, all off speed, which is just insane. That
good point.
They hurt themselves by not throwing the fastball.
That's away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Again, just back, Lucas Giolito. Welcome to the Padres. First outing looked really good. Trying to push through those thresholds, but just that last inning, mentally you leave this game thinking, man, the way it ended for him. But first game back, it's gonna be just fine.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Went to the slow breaking ball, and the inning ends. But the Mariners hop back into it. 7-3, just like that. Petition. Don't miss the premiere of America's Got Talent, June 2nd on NBC and Peacock. This game will be auditioning for America's Got Talent with its special skill of scoring all the runs in the 6th inning. 5 in the top of the inning, 3 in the bottom of the inning, in what was a very svelte 2-0 game. But now it is 7-3, and the rookie Alex Hoppe out of Davenport, Iowa, is on the hill in his 8th game as a major leaguer. He gets a tapper to third. Emerson on the charge, in rhythm and safe. He pulled Naylor off the bag. Tatis is safe over at first.
Nearly saw Cole Emerson flash some of that defense. It's the other part of his game with that good arm strength, but just pulling Josh Naylor off the bag.
Nice job by Josh Naylor. Young kids, first baseman. Riz, you can speak to this, coming off the bag to prevent the ball going down the line.
Oh yeah, especially not stretching too early over there. That's the biggest thing, and Naylor did a good job of coming off and getting that ball and not letting it get by him.
When do you want to stretch, Anthony?
As late as possible. You know, on that play, Tatis is moving it down the line. He smells the hit, so you do have to be aggressive on it. But if you are a split second too early there, that ball is going over there into right field, and Tatis will be on second base, potentially even third base.
Ball and a strike on Andujar. Doubled and scored in the 6th. Here it is again, Anthony.
Yeah, you know, at some point, you know, as a first baseman, you have to bail out there to go and get the ball. But we try to hold as long as we can.
You talk like there's a first baseman instruction manual. we try to hold as long as we can.
Look, I said this a couple weeks ago. First basemen do not get the love that we deserve over there. So I'm slightly biased for all first basemen, and I want to give them as much love as I can.
It is a high humility position.
Who's the best defensively right now in the game, in your mind?
Probably Matt Olson. I mean, he plays every single day, so I mean, he's a wizard over there. It's really, for me, the guys who could pick the ball, pick it up for the infielders. You know, guys, for me, I always want them to feel comfortable. They make a diving play, they get up and throw it, knowing that I'll be there to at least stop it and not let it get by me.
Throw down to second base, not in time on Tatis, who steals his 11th bag of the year.
The Padres are Got that green light to run. Decent jump here, but again, I keep going back to Mitch Garver, just looking slow behind the plate right now. Why? Because he's dealing with a little back issue. Took that ball off the toe early in this game. I think they're picking up on a few things back there. He's not feeling his best getting that throw off.
Tatis off a 32 stolen base season last year as that's fouled away. Anthony Rizzo is downstairs. Ryan Rowland-Smith, Jake Peavy along with you, Jason Benetti, and our entire crew here on Sunday Night Baseball presented by Capital One. You just heard from four-time Gold Glover Anthony Rizzo downstairs on the mechanics of first base. Ahmed Fareed roving the ballpark. Last time we were here, Ahmed was eating fish out of a ferry.
That's right. Yes.
We've not heard from Ahmed recently, so there's a chance that he's captaining a boat.
We've got some ferry boats up here too.
We did.
Crushing some fries and whatever else.
See, we got food last time. Now we have Peavy here. We became a three-piece band instead. It's fouled away right side.
Really nice job of Andujar here spoiling these pitches. How is he spoiling them? He's letting the ball get very deep. Because right here, even though with a 4-run lead, you're trying to drive the ball, but you want this guy at second base, Fernando, to be standing on third by the end of your at-bat.
Padres would love to add on a run or two, in part because, number one, you want to win the game, but number two, you'd like to have some leeway for that bullpen.
That's exactly right. Morihone and Adam potentially down or would be going 3 in a row. Mason Miller threw 34 pitches on Friday. They would like to give him 2 days if possible.
3-2. He just reached out and punched it to right field. There's a total bailout by Andujar. We got a small piece of it. Take home a piece of the game. Bid on game used jerseys, baseballs, bases, and more at auctions.mlb.com. All you got to do is scan that QR code. You never know what you can bid on. 3-2 for Andujar. On the ground up the middle. Tatis peels away. The throw by Young. It's exactly like you said, Jake. Moving Tatis to third.
Yeah, he's so tough with 2 strikes. I mean, even some of the thumb too. He's had 12 extra base hits this season, best in the big leagues with 2 strikes. He's slugging .520, so it's a big out, even though it's productive. Get some of that padding. You have to use that bullpen.
That's going to bring the infield in right here. Now Gavin Sheets with a big field to play with. Just a ball in play. Likely scores a run.
He's got 2 homers today. He takes a strike. Anthony, you're a lefty with a sinker slider guy on the mound. Where's your mind if you're Gavin Sheets?
Well, with a base open, you got to be careful. He threw him a strike there, so he's going to be pretty aggressive. So just trying to see something up and put the ball in play, get the free RBI.
He saw it up. He slices it down the right field line. That's a fair baseball again. Gavin Sheets' night has broken out in Seattle. He's driven in 4. It's 8-3.
And he's hit all 3 pitches, Jason. He's hit the fastball out of the ballpark, the changeup out of the ballpark. You get the slider, this at bat, rattles it into the corner. And Gavin Sheets again staying hot for these Padres and carrying the mail.
Anthony, off that first pitch, you said it was an aggressive posture from Hoppy. It looked like Sheets recognized that.
Yeah, and as a hitter there with the base open, you just wonder, especially as a lefty with Manny on deck, are they going to pitch to me or are they going to try to mess around with me and then set up a double play ball? So it's that cat and mouse game that you're always going up to the plate wondering what they're going to do.
Hoppy will underhand to first. Manny Machado made it about 40 feet down the line. You don't have to give it 100 on every ground ball, and that's proof.
You know, for me too, that's such a big run in the game here. They just score a few runs. The Mariners just score a few runs. They're feeling good. They're mounting a comeback. I wouldn't have minded them pitching around Sheets there. Manny hasn't been swinging it as good as he normally does. So try to set up a double play and get out of that with not giving up a run.
Well, I think he was probably trying to do it as well. I think just with Hoppy, young pitcher on the mound right now, tried to bury that slider and left it up enough. And Gavin Sheets made him pay for it. Because you look at that and you also see the infield in, knowing that how big of a run that is. So you know in the back of your mind you're thinking, okay, look, they're going to pitch me tough here, especially with the open base. But I think with Hoppy just trying to spin that slider a little too much, left it up out over the plate.
Power sinker, strike 2. Nicely blocked by Garver. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bogaerts.
Xander Bogaerts has been great with some of the other guys. Randy Vasquez, a pitcher, really taking Randy under his wing. Loving on Randy, watching him be a leader and also playing well for San Diego is a huge piece to this puzzle.
Catcher's challenging.
Challenge by Garver of what was ball 2. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. It is strike 3.
Good one.
Mitch Garver endearing himself to the Mariners staff. Padres do add on. Major League Baseball, we like to recap what happened across the game. The Phillies are back. Riz, you were talking about it pregame. 15-4 under Don Mattingly.
Yeah, and then to go over 500 against Paul Skeens today, that's a huge boost. Finishing off the sweep against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who's a really good team this year.
The Mets beat the Yankees, who had 5 infielders at the time, and then the White Sox got a home run from Tristan Peters to help beat the Cubs. They end up winning in extra innings in that series. The White Sox are a game back of Cleveland in the American League Central. Look out, 9-8 final score. Murakami in that offense, they are a home run machine right now. But Anthony, you know, I mean, look, no Yankee fans are going to panic about losing 2 or 3 to the Mets.
Yes, they will.
Really?
Oh, I can't wait to see what the New York Post says tomorrow, right? But even as a player, when you lose to the Mets, especially when you're at Citi Field, it sucked. Same with the Cubs. When you go to Comiskey or Guaranteed Rate, I believe it's called now, it is not fun losing there because those fans, you hear it a little bit more on the rivalries.
You've been the big brother in 2 rivalries, I'm noticing.
I have,
sort of.
Yeah, like the bully, right?
Yeah.
Not the bully, but yeah, you're right, the big brother. So again, when you roll in, when you win, when you beat them like we did most of the time, it's expected. But when you lose, it sucks.
And knowing those 2 fan bases, you felt like the big brother, but the White Sox and the Mets both feel like they have a puncher's chance every time.
Well, I was going to say, hold on, Jason. I was 4 years on the south side over there being the little brother. We certainly didn't feel like it in those matchups.
No, for sure. That's just the way it gets positioned.
No, you don't feel like it until it's, a June game and there's 10,000 people in the stands.
We get
as opposed to 40.
We get a challenge here. ABS challenge by Canzone. And it is low. Canzone stays alive. It's 3-2. It's an ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile.
I think my favorite part, though, about the rivalries was the fans. Seeing the fans interact during those games, whether the teams are good or bad, just the passion that the cities have for their teams.
PCA saw that close up at Cubs White Sox earlier today. 3-2 is down. That's ball 4. That is the 5th walk by a Padres pitcher in the last 2 innings. Here is the game summary. This was calm, cool, and collected through 5 innings. It was 2-0, and then kaboom. The Padres got 5 in the 6th. Mariners responded with 3.
Yeah, I think both starting pitchers. Look, George Kirby, I was going to say he only made the 2 mistakes. One, Gavin Sheets to that sinker that was supposed to be in that pitch, which has been a game changer for him the last couple of years, just kind of hung out over the plate. And then the sweeper, we were just talking about how good that pitch was. And he cement mixed one to Ty France, driving that ball into right field. But then all of a sudden the wheels came off. He got a little frustrated, ended up middle of the plate. And then on the other side, I think Lucas Giolito, you can just sum this up to just trying to get through those thresholds, that pitch count, some of that stamina deep into the game, especially too the fact that you had to sit out while your team was scoring all those runs.
Good splitter from Matsui, the lefty splitter, which you just don't see nearly as much as right-handed splitters.
That's why he handles both sides of the plate very well. You want a left-hander that can also get right-handers out. And Matsui does that.
Oh, 2 to Garver. Swing and a miss. There it is again.
It's just an optical illusion. This ball doesn't have too much movement, but looks just like the fastball out of the hand and just never makes it.
Man, that pitch is nasty right there.
And you know Garver, as a catcher, probably knew it was coming and still couldn't wait after he swung and missed the pitch before.
Matsui to Colt Emerson, who was drafted out of high school. He was offered a scholarship to Auburn, decided not to go. Anybody in the booth know anything about that?
I'll say War Eagle, absolutely. I was signed, committed to the Auburn Tigers. The Padres fortunately talked me out of that decision. But we pull for the home state. The Auburn Tigers, Tim Hudson, dear close friend, Josh Donaldson, Frank Thomas.
Donaldson with his number retired this over the weekend.
That's right.
There at Auburn.
That's right.
Shout out to JD.
The Rainmaker. Riz, you were talking about your favorite part being the fans. I remember being in Chicago, White Sox Cubs, and they could not play night games.
I love that.
Had to do away with night games because too much indulgence during the day, leading to some fights in the stands over on the south side.
I'll tell you what, when you're
that
on the
was just
south
Ozzie
side,
Guillen. No,
you're going to see some fights in the stands there.
I absolutely loved the south side of Chicago.
That visiting bullpen down there, there's like a bar which is kind of like lowered a little bit, and there's like a chain link fence where they can look out. As a matter of fact, that's right where PCA was having a little altercation today. But when you're warming up, right at your feet, I remember it, these fans, and if you kind of look in there, because it's tough to see, and you're trying to like make eye contact, man, they will wear you out. I remember warming up there against the White Sox.
2-2 in the air to right field, pretty deep but playable for Laureano. 2 down here in the 7th inning. MLB app has you covered all season long. Get personalized highlights and push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. I think we can all agree who've experienced it. The Cubs White Sox, and I joke about Ozzie, but he's a piece of that rivalry. He's an awesome character, and they have had so many awesome characters in that rivalry.
Oh, the manager for the Cubs when my time there was Lou Piniella, equally as charismatic.
Yeah.
Carlos Zambrano had some crazy moments during that series in my time there. Michael Barrett, A.J. Brzezinski, we all remember.
And credit to the White Sox today for taking 2 of 3 from the Cubs in a great idea by Major League Baseball to put the rivalries together in a weekend.
Absolutely.
It's a great idea. Have the
hitter
we get a challenge here. And that is a strike. It's an ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. The Mariners are out of challenges. Remember, Rivas is at the top of the card after J.P. Crawford was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. He left an inning later, and then Rivas walked and scored in the 6th.
Yeah, Leo Rivas, a good story. Spent 9 years in the minor leagues. Had a chance to play a little bit last year. Had a couple big moments for this team, getting to the AL West championship in 2025. But this year just has those opportunities, just squandered it a little bit.
End of the bat in the air, left field. Gavin Sheets, who's had a mammoth night at the plate, makes the catch. We are through 7. It's the Padres by 5. In the new Peacock original, MIA, a young woman dreams of life in Miami's glittering world until tragedy pulls her into the city's dangerous underbelly. Streaming now.
He nailed that.
So great.
Wow.
Strike 1 to Jackson Merrill. Thanks for joining us. Deep voice guy, plus Ryan Roland Smith, Jake Peavy, Jason Benetti.
I kind of goosebumps up here. I was getting a little, you know.
Have you seen? We need to actually air a bit of that show to see if it's as dramatic as the promo. I'm going to watch it tonight because that is a killer promo.
You've got my attention, and I'm watching as well.
MIA.
Me too.
Have you, Anthony Rizzo, been in Miami's glittering world or the dangerous underbelly?
I have been in Miami's glittering world plenty of times. And maybe sometimes in the underbelly, but not so much.
That's why you asked the question. Hoppy gets a ground ball out, 1 down. In all seriousness, Anthony, you were watching that Hoppy fastball from field level during the last inning. He was out there. What do you think?
It looks like a bowling ball. That thing is, it looks heavy. It's 99. Sometimes 99 doesn't seem as heavy, but it looks like it from right here. It looks like it's just bowling into the right-handed hitters.
And you know what, this offseason too, with that, he primarily threw 4-seamers, right? And they saw a little bit of that movement on it. They're like, hold on a minute. Hey, why don't we try and, you know, manipulate that grip? And then lo and behold, he comes into spring training with that bowling ball because he started throwing as a sinker. And then here he is in the big leagues.
Well, the benefit too of throwing both the 4-seam and 2-seam, it's just another pitch you have to cover as a hitter. So you can't just commit to one. You know, you can't manipulate your swing to hit the sinker. You have to stay on top of his 4-seam as well.
It absolutely blows my mind how pitchers just stick with one fastball and don't want to use the ball to move in a situation where we're grip it and rip it in today's world. A little bit of late movement, Riz, you know, that means as much as velocity. Straight, these guys can hit it.
Absolutely.
You make it move late, quick outs.
Taylor's oldest time in this game is if you can locate your fastball, it makes every other pitch that much better.
0-2. Jake, how did you find your sinker?
You know, just mimicking Tim Hudson. Tim Hudson's a little bit ahead of me, went to Auburn, and I'd watched him pitch. He was a two-way player, so inspiring to me. And then watched Greg Maddux. I had a dog named Maddux growing up, and the movement was the big play there, the command with the movement. And then, again, when you start facing the game's best, sometimes you think more is more, and you want to throw it harder, but that's also going to be straighter. That late movement, especially when you're behind in counts and the hitter's ahead, and you could get that right there. Just a weak ground ball.
Emerson from third, 2 away off the sinker. More after this.
Craving more baseball? Just tell Siri, show me today's MLB schedule.
Not everybody in our viewing audience knows that the sinker, you know, there's some casual fans who join in on every baseball game. The sinker doesn't necessarily drop. It can run as well with movement horizontally. We'll talk more about that when we come back as Hoppy and his sinker lead. Brewers from the man himself on the latest edition of MLB according to CC. New episodes with CC Sabathia and Ahmed Fareed drop every Wednesday on all major podcast platforms. First pitch from the new hurler for Seattle, Domingo Gonzalez, the rookie who's in his 4th major league game.
He made his debut on the road in Houston. Chance to finally get up to the big leagues. Been a long run for him in the minor leagues to get to this point. Threw an inning and a third yesterday, so trying to suck up some innings right here. Save the back end of that bullpen for these Mariners.
His first year in minor league baseball was 2018 in rookie ball with the Pirates, and he eventually makes it to the big leagues here in 2026. It's an interesting staff for the Mariners right now because they are going 6-man rotation, so there's a little extra tension on the bullpen.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic right now. They're kind of being forced into that situation because Emerson Hancock has been so good. Luis Castillo scuffled a little bit, and they want to keep all their starters here, and they're putting a little bit more pressure, obviously, on that bullpen. They want to potentially piggyback Luis Castillo and Emerson Hancock, which I don't quite know how that's going to work out. Probably just a short-term thing.
Explain for our audience piggybacking here.
Yeah, basically, it's going to be Luis Castillo or Emerson. They haven't decided yet. One of them is going to start, and then the next guy's going to pitch right after him in that, during that turn in the rotation to keep everyone else on a 5-man turn. And I get why. I mean, obviously, Jake, as you know, with routine, you don't want to take starts away at the end of the year because they get less of them from 3 of your main guys.
This into center from France is a base hit.
Again, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, get as many outings out of them, obviously, as you can as the season goes on. And the other side of this is too with his bullpen with the Mariners, which has been good. They had a really good road trip, losing Gabe Spire and Matt Brash, two key pieces setting up for Andres Munoz. They're both on the IL. Matt Brash looks like he's going to be coming back very soon, and then Gabe Spire after him. But man, they have, they're razor thin right now in that bullpen.
Oh no! I can see using the 6-man rotation, maybe the first up through June, maybe to the All-Star break to keep some guys healthy.
Yeah.
Luis Castillo would probably have been the odd man out with kind of the way he's thrown, and Emerson Hancock. But this starting staff, if you ask me, is too good to just go out there once every 6 days.
Yeah.
I'm running Kirby, Gilbert, and the fellows Wu out there every 5th day when I can, when it matters.
And that man right there, Emerson Hancock, again, look, he has been in this situation the last couple of years with the Mariners where he's been that 6th guy, then someone comes back from the IL. He's been the odd man out, but he's forced the issue. He had 14 strikeouts, career high, just a couple outings ago. He's looked really good.
The Seattle staff has the best starting pitcher walk rate in baseball. They get a lot of chase out of the zone. They're fastball heavy, but that is what powered them in a lot of ways to where they went last year. And you figure, when Cal Raleigh gets back and healthy, you're going to get a better version of him. And right now, Seattle is very much in an AL West that is extremely gettable.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, they're slowly, sort of working their way through these early parts of the season. But man, Cal, again, I've said this a few times, as we've seen, even on the other side there, all of a sudden Mitch Garver's out of the challenges. I was thinking about it, but it was clearly outside. But Cal, I think, and again, look at the World Baseball Classic. It's got to be disruptive, right? I mean, for guys trying to get off to a good start, I think Cal was a victim of that.
That's strike 3, inning over. The Mariners in the 8th will have Rodriguez, Naylor, and Arozarena next. The Western Conference, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander officially the MVP now in the Oklahoma City Thunder game. One of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow, 8 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. We have hit the bottom of the 8th inning. San Diego an 8-3 lead here. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have 306 Major League home runs among us with Anthony Rizzo, Ryan Rowland-Smith, Jake Peavy, Jason Benetti along with you. Riz has 303 of them.
I'm an 0 for 4 in the big leagues. Couple groundouts.
Peave?
3 homers. I actually say I have 4 because I hit one off Vicente Padilla in spring training. That counts to me.
I got 2 hits in spring training. That counts. Jason Marquez.
This to first base and one away. Rodriguez covers. So out number 1 is Julio Rodriguez. You have 3 home runs as a pitcher, Jake Peavy, and you're counting the spring training home run.
Oh, there's nothing that feels better than hitting a home run in sports, period. Of all the strikeouts, a couple thousand of them, none of them felt anything like the trip around the bases 3 times. One of them was off my good buddy, and I probably shouldn't say his name on national television, but hitting one off Brad Penny, a good buddy, in Dodger Stadium, highlight of my career. Love it.
That's better than a 16 strikeout game, evidently. This to left field. Sheets is back there. He makes the catch. 2 down. We do have file footage of the 16 strikeout game. You're saying that a home run in the big leagues is better than this?
Well, this was a special night, but I end up losing this game. Our good buddy John Smoltz, who I just punched out there, threw a complete game shutout. But yeah, 16 strikeouts a couple times in the Padre uniform. Lost both games, Rhino. It's hard to do.
That's hard to do.
Tough league.
Tough
league. That's right.
I lost that game 2-0 to John Smoltz. The game in Arizona, I came out. My good buddy Scott Linebrink and Trevor Hoffman didn't have the greatest of luck behind me. What I remember is wanting to fight Boach and staying in both of those games after doing 16 through 7 a couple times.
Who was your first major league strikeout?
It was Derek Jeter.
Oh, I thought Hyphen was going to have you on a first strikeout here.
Well, I told you earlier that Soriano hit that first ball I threw off the wall, fastball. And I threw Jeter's slider, and he swung and missed, and decided to throw 2 more and unfortunately.
So we have two amazing first strikeouts in the big leagues, Ryan.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. How about that? Getting to the big leagues. Well, by the way, I got up here, didn't pitch. I was up here for 3 days against the Yankees. Up, crawling in a hold over there in that bullpen because I was too scared to pitch. Finally got the call about a month later.
Tough play over at third, and Duhar couldn't reel it in, you were saying?
And it was a blowout. And the first time Griffey was back in Seattle, he's playing for the Cincinnati Reds. So this crowd was on their feet every time he come up to hit. And I was like, just don't walk him, Jake. You know what I mean? Like, don't come out here and just freaking out and just throw, ball one, ball two, and walking. This crowd's going to hate me. But I ended up punching him out. Just snapped off a breaking ball, and that was it.
Did they cheer for you, or were they mad at you for striking out?
They were booing me. Oh, yeah, they were booing me. And then a couple of years later, we were teammates, and I couldn't wait to ask just to see if he knew anything about me, right? I said, I finally, about a month into the season, I said, hey, Griff, you realize, like, you're the first hitter I ever faced. I wanted the response to be like, oh, yeah, no, I remember that, of course. He didn't have any idea, man. He was like, oh, yeah, what did I do against you? I was like, never mind, man. I wanted you to know who. No, you were my first, man. What happened? But I told him I struck him out. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I'll tell you what, boys. Striking out Freddie Freeman was one of the bigger joys I ever had on the baseball field. So three Hall of Famers we all struck out. Freddie soon to be.
This one gets away. Rosarena peels away from first base. He's on his way into second, and he'll slow to a stop there.
Riz, what was the pitch? What did you punch him out on?
A nasty. It was a sweeper before the sweeper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Pre-sweeper, sweeper.
Yep. I kind of invented it.
Earlier in the game, when we were talking about the pitchers versus the position players, I used to tell my position players who wanted to get involved, turn around and shut up and catch the ball if they hit it to you. What people don't realize is the pitcher and the batter are having a very personal interaction, where the rest of the other 8 guys, they get in the mix, but Riz, it feels different. That place can be the best place in the world out there on that mound. It can also be very lonely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've only had success on the mound in the big leagues, so I really can't relate. But I ended striking out Freddie. That's it. That was the highlight of my career on the pitching side.
Can't relate.
You signed the ball for him?
No, he signed it for me.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I got that in my office.
Oh, so great. So great.
What's better, the strikeout you had on him or the rundown?
The rundown was for entertainment purposes, right? Screaming Frederick, running him down. But him and I mean, he always has fun on the field, and so do I. So it was always fun playing against him.
2-2 to Ref Snyder. Another chance for Andujar from third, and his throw is on the mark. Everyone's first strikeout. What a memory. Anthony Rizzo. (8-3) San Diego trying to sweep the season series with the Seattle Mariners. Two teams with playoff aspirations. The Padres a game back of the Dodgers in the NL West. Fernando Tatis Jr. with a fly ball to left. Here is the 4th fastest player all time to 150 home runs and 100 stolen bases. It's Alex Rodriguez, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Willie Mays. Those are the 3 guys that were faster to 150 and 100. That first homer is going to happen, and Anthony said it earlier. It's going to be a celebration, but also it's going to be followed by a second one pretty quickly thereafter, it feels like.
They certainly come in bunches, don't they, Riz?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a really good sign for him right there, too, to pull that ball in the air on the pull side. That was a nice swing that looked like the Fernando Tatis Jr. that this league has been used to. So it's only a matter of time, and when he does it, they're going to happen in the heart of the summer, probably down the stretch when they need him the most. That's when he's going to be the hottest.
That was a great point, because that was the swing. That was just a slider that just got a little bit away from him. But if that ball was in the middle of the plate, that is a homer.
All it takes, too, as a hitter is just that one feel in the box, that one swing, that one contact point, hitting a ball on the button one time to turn everything around for you. So when it does happen, if I was a pitcher, I'd be scared to be facing him.
Well, you were a pitcher.
Again,
one that only had success.
Remember, I did pitch around Acuna to get to Freddie, guys. I knew the matchup was better left on left.
Sweeper before the sweeper.
There's strike 3, 2 away.
The thing is, too, I mean, he's hard hit rate is through the roof this year as well. The ball's been hit on the ground way more, but hey, look at that hard hit percentage right there, 57%.
It's just a ton of ground balls. It's a lot of ground balls.
I was about to say, I think it's a little misleading when you think about it, because those balls are not leaving far out in front of home plate. But he has certainly played a lot better than the numbers show. When you watch the Padres night in, night out, the impact that he makes when he plays right field, he's as good as right fielders in the game. He's been playing second base a lot with Cronenworth out. He's been a good teammate and hit the ball hard. It just hasn't went over the fence.
So here is Gavin Sheets. And 2-0 for Gavin Sheets, who has tied a career high, reaching base 4 times. He's got 3 extra base hits. He's got 2 home runs. Our statistician Ed Svita asks if the Mariners might be wishing the Padres were Sheetsless in Seattle. I just read what he hands me. Honestly, there's no editorial control here.
I tell you what, when you talk about Gavin Sheets and you just don't ever know, things just didn't click for this on the south side of Chicago. He was allowed to just walk and sign a free agent contract with the Padres, coming to a bigger ballpark to hit in, and you just never know what it's going to take. And when a right coach says the right thing to make you go, and my goodness, has he found a home in San Diego.
Mammoth night tonight for Gavin Sheets. And he takes ball 4. He's on base for the 5th time tonight. The home runs were nearly identical, Jake.
Well, that was the fastball, right? 97, ready to hit George Kirby's fastball, and then watch this. The changeup hangs. He puts the exact same swing on it. Again, I think he knew he was probably getting it after the second at bat. When a man's hot, probably should have done what they did right there and walked him a few times.
There's no loss of pride in walking someone.
Well, you know who's hot coming in. He was 10 for his last 28. After he takes that first swing, again, I think George Kirby's going to go back in the 6th and really understand that he probably went after the wrong guy in that situation, especially that he got Manning to hit the ground ball back to him that would have been a potential double play to end the inning. But we live and we learn. The game happens so fast when you're out there on the field that we can slow it down, kind of sitting back and talking about it. When you're out there, it becomes a different thing sometimes.
And you didn't even throw in the timer era. I mean, pitchers now sometimes need a catcher to come out and slow the thing down.
Well, I mean, that was one thing that some of my mentors, Woody Williams and those guys, would teach me. I would tie my shoe.
That ball is laced to left field by Machado, and a beautiful grab by Arozarena. Bottom 9 coming your way. Arozarena keeps it at 8-3. The Mariners need a comeback. For 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week, plus live radio broadcasts like that one that Rick Riz is doing for the Mariners of every game. Game Day 3D, big inning and minor league action. Go to MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. A legendary voice of the game. We love the radio announcers across Major League Baseball. Rick Riz, year number 41. He's announced he's retiring at the end of this season. He is a marvelous human being, part of the fabric of this organization, and a great announcer. And we congratulate Rick on such a phenomenal career. And baseball's not going to be the same without him. Ryan, you know him well.
Yeah, he's going to be missed, and he's going to be around a lot, obviously, after he's retired and doing special events and everything with the Seattle Mariners. I mean, he's embedded in the culture here with the Mariners, but I was shocked, Jason, when I found out this is going to be his last year, because, man, he is just such, those people when you're having a rough day or you complain about some of the little things, you go walk in that radio booth, and he just lights you up. Man, he is just that guy that makes you, you cannot take this job, being around this team or around this game, for granted when you're around Rick Riz. So, yeah, he's going to be missed, that's for sure. But he made it very easy for me too when I was transitioning from playing into trying to do some radio and TV, and man, he is going to be missed for sure.
Had a nice chance to catch up with him earlier down there. And being the guy he was, the emotional support dog was there, and I was trying to pet him, and he gave me a doggy treat to give the dog and make friends with him. So,
well, it speaks volumes too, man. He had like an injury on a quad bike a couple years ago, and Gino Suarez, right? You know, when players, like this is a little bit of a measuring stick for me. When players, Gino Suarez came up to him and said, "Hey, you okay?" The first day he was back. "Hey, you okay? What's going on?" Gave him a big hug. "Can I hug you?" Like, I'm like, man, the players just respect him so much when they see him and knowing what he's up to and everything else. But yeah, he's great to be around, Rick, and he will be missed.
Yeah, phenomenal at what he does. And he and Dave Niehaus, the legendary voice of the Mariners for a long while as well, who's since passed away. That is the tag team of radio announcers that this city has known, as there is strike 3 on Cole Young and 1 away. You see the Dave Niehaus press level here in Seattle. When you walk through the radio and TV booths, there's some great quotes on the wall of legendary calls from announcers here. And Ryan, you work with a fantastic announcer on television for the Mariners, Aaron Goldsmith as well, who we definitely need to say hello to as well. Oh boy, that hits the plate umpire. Chad Fairchild gets socked with that foul ball. Man, that is such a dangerous job.
Ooh, off the shoulder.
Shoulder off the mask.
Especially on a Sunday afternoon here in the 9th inning. Crouching down for a better part of 2.5 hours.
Chad's been a good umpire for a long time. Had a relationship with him when I was in the league. And look, these umpires have a thankless job a lot of times. They're going to leave right out of here, go get on a plane to the next city, get in and do it all over again. He's going to do it a little bit sore, but the pro's pro.
I sincerely hope that the challenge system has shown how good the top level umpires are and how good every umpire really is. I know there are some bad games where their challenges get overturned a bunch, but there are also a lot of pitches that batters don't know if they're strikes or balls, and they don't know if they should challenge either. And these umpires do that on a day-to-day basis. They have to make every call. Batters and catchers get to decide what they want to challenge. These guys have to call every pitch, regardless if they're certain, and they do an outstanding high-level job as the 0-2 is down 1-2.
And just on that too, Jason, like some of the technology in the last half a decade, where like all of a sudden, you see the strike zone, on some of these broadcasts on the screen, some of the technology they have in the dugout now, the pressure that they're under because you had the potential automatic strike zone 100%, not the challenge system. So some of the things, especially in the last 5 years, man, it just goes to show how good they are at their job. That's for sure.
2-2 on Canzone. 8-3 San Diego over Seattle in the finale of 3. As that is into the glove, strike 3. Rodriguez has back-to-back punch-outs here in the 9th.
You're seeing why the Padres are high on Rodriguez. Reminds me a lot of K-Rod. You can certainly see some of it in his delivery, the glasses, but the changeup is the equalizer. Big 98-mile-an-hour fastball gets you ready, but that combio plays big.
That's filthy. Opponents hitting 069 coming into this game against that pitch.
Garver, who takes a ball 1-0. The Mariners have 1 hit in this game. They have 3 runs, but 1 hit.
I don't know if I should say this, but I'm pulling for Mitch Garver to find a way on base so we can see Emerson possibly bat for another time.
Yeah.
I've been super impressed. I know he doesn't have a lot to show for it yet, but I've been really impressed by his at-bats and the swings he's taken today.
Yeah, a couple deep counts, dropping that ball into right field against that plus Giolito changeup.
Big name for here in Seattle for a long time.
To your point, Ryan, he was 2-2 on both of his outs. He also walked and scored as part of that 6th inning that went 4 walks, 2 sac flies. It's the first time since 1920 an inning has gone 4 walks, 2 sac flies. Every night in baseball, every night something happens that you go, what in the world was that? And it's like the first time since the Cleveland Spiders did it. There's always something, even in an 8-3, 5-run game, something that hasn't happened in more than 100 years. 2-2, swing and a miss. Rodriguez strikes out the side, and the Padres complete a clean season sweep of the Mariners to handily win the Vetter Cup. And the Padres will go into that series with the Dodgers a half game back in the NL West. We'll step aside and wrap it when we come back. The Padres are winners by 5.